All right, let's see. Can everybody tell me if the stream is on? Yes, it is. Cool. Cool. There's the other David. Now we just need Bruce.
Okay, he's coming, I think.
Cool. Yeah, we're live, so Bruce gets here.
All right.
There you go. We're live, so you can go on.
All right, hold on. Let me set my share screen up so that I'm DYDX. All right, all set up. Okay, are we back? Are we running?
Mm-hmm.
Looks like I don't see it in. Oh, there we go. All right, YouTube's running too. David, we're off, guys. Woohoo, we made it. I was a little painful for a second. So this session is going to be charts, setups, and we want this to be really interactive. So we'll be watching YouTube comments. So if there are charts you want to see, TA questions you have, this is your time. So just David, you got something ready you want to show to begin with?
Yeah. We'll just kind of freestyle this and whatever you guys want to request. Tokens, can draw stuff from scratch, look at some Degen tokens, whatever.
Mm-hmm. And so I'll keep a list of what I see on in comments.
Okay. Yeah, no, Bitcoin, a little bit about Bitcoin right now. And I drew this fib here from this low, 41,414 to the high. And I have this sniper zone region marked out, kind of expecting it to get touched potentially. We do have almost 5 hours left of the US session. They didn't really do too much, but I am aware of this level here. I think if we do reach this level between 42,485 and 42,580, I do think we'll see a nice bounce from there. But keep in mind, guys, we are going into the weekend, so typically it's a trap. And I mentioned this at our Sniper Club meeting this morning, but if you guys were paying attention to what happened last weekend, what happened was Saturday, there was a big rally. I think it was like a 2% move on Bitcoin or 1.5% move on Bitcoin, and altcoins were pumping like crazy, 10, 15%. And the thing to keep in mind is when we're in the weekend, the whales, the market makers, they can't exit or enter their money into the space, exit the space or enter the space, right? They have to wait until Monday when CME's open. Those are when the big dogs can create some big moves in the market. And so when that happened last weekend, what happened on Sunday? Everything was red. Everything, almost. And that's something that you have to be aware of on the weekends, is that typically it's designed to trap people, right? And so everybody that was long and bullish on Saturday that entered it late ended up getting wrecked on Sunday. And then those that had their positions open that were, in a good position, well, if they didn't take the profits, they pretty much did a round trip, as Dylan likes to call it, where you see all of your profits, it's amazing, and then you see it all go back down to zero. So again, be aware of that scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I'm going to look for is what it's looking like on the Keltner channels, as I always preach. And what's interesting now is that whenever we did have that session a few hours ago, none of this existed yet, right? So we saw this, and guess what? we are seeing somewhat of a little pullback on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it's a 0.8%, but typically it'll go down towards the Keltner channel and then reverse back up. All right, so we'll see what that looks like. That's kind of what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, bullish, but I am aware that any moment, we don't know when, but the market makers could do another flush out. So be careful, because again, when Bitcoin sneezes 1% or 2%, these altcoins take a big hit. For example, like PYTH, it's already like a 10% retracement. So just be aware of that, be careful. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some altcoins.
It's interesting looking at PYTH. I haven't commented much on it, but when you look at tokens like PYTH, where everyone gets all excited about, look at the size of the wicks on that puppy, right? I mean, both up and and you're and here's the thing, David's looking at the chart using Heikinashi, which evens everything out. But I mean, that thing gets all wicky. So even though it's got great moves, don't be surprised when it wicks you out. Just know that that's part of playing the PYTH game. High risk token, high rewards, huge risk.
Yeah, it's definitely a mover. Just be careful on this one. So what I'm looking on in PYTH, I guess since we're looking at PYTH, is I drew a fib here.
Yeah.
So basically, one thing that I like to teach you guys is whenever you draw a fib from the top to the bottom, right? So in this example here on Friday, November 24th is this high wick. I drew it down to the bottom here. And I actually got the alert. So whenever I do this, I always expect it to touch up here. And I had set an alert, I think like 2 or 3 days ago. And I took a short immediately at 49 cents, marketed short, 10x leverage, and made a quick 100% and got out. It's a good thing I got out, because guess what? It basically came back up. So with that being said, looks like it's still rejecting in this area, and we have this new potential trend line. And then I drew another fib from this low to this high, and it kind of lines up perfectly. So what I'm seeing on PYTH is some kind of wick, maybe some kind of visit to the trend line. And there's 3 things that I always look for: a fib, which we got, trend line, which we got, and an order block, which we got. Those 3 things should be part of the checklist if you're a new trader when making a decision to enter and exit a trade. But yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. And we could even set an alert here together. 4.45.
People can see, what time frame is your chart on right now?
On the 1 hour.
1 hour. Yeah.
So I'm going to set an alert here, see what it does. It's a very bullish token, but maybe snag along here. But I am also aware that PYTH is very, very dangerous, and there could be a crazy wick down here. Could easily be a 20% wick, and then a reclaim. Right? We see that all the time. So that's PYTH. Got it on my radar. I flagged it as cyan, which is I like to mark cyan for wild coins that make no sense, like BONK. Makes no freaking sense. Like, where's the TA on this one? Pretty crazy, but we took that trade on Sunday. I don't know if you guys are still in it. I still have my entry at 48, and my P&L looks really stupid right now. I wish I had a bigger position, but yeah, tokens like this, meme coins, great profits, but you could also get destroyed very easily. But yeah, I would recommend having these kind of tokens on your watch list and just pay attention to the behavior. Watch the patterns, see how, you can see this flag. It was flagging, broke out of the bull flag.
And retesting it again. Yep,
retested. If we take off Heikinashi, there was like that retest right there.
By the way, for those that are saying that the YouTube Screen quality is not good. The auto setup, which most of us have on YouTube, often downgrades it. So you can go into your settings and upgrade the video quality to like 720 or 1080p, and the high def will come through. I'm just noticing in the comments. Cool.
Yeah.
So, David, I got a couple things that people are asking for. If you want to, since you're up on the screen, you want to take a couple. PYTH was one of them. The next one interesting is CRO, crypto.com.
I haven't charted that at all, but I could chart.
I haven't either.
You have it.
I own a lot of it, but
let's see. Coinbase is probably the best one with the volume. I guess it's not on Binance.
CROs, it's crypto.com, so it should be everywhere. I mean, it took a hell of a beating during the bear market.
Cool.
On the high time frame, it's like got trashed.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. So one of the things I do when I first start charting, guys, is I kind of go to the 2 or 4 hour higher time frames, kind of just see the history of it, how high it was before. Wow. Okay. Okay. So all-time high was around $1. How much of a retracement is that? 90% retracement. Okay. So then now I'll try to see if there's some kind of break a trend. Usually, with what's happened recently, everything should be breaking trends. And I just kind of draw trend lines until something makes sense, right? That could be one. Let's see. Let's try this one. Possibly that. Probably this one, actually, because there's 3 touches. Yeah, so trend lines, guys, you typically want 3 touches. 3 touches. So we have 1, 2. It can't really be this one. 3. That kind of makes sense.
Yep.
So then just draw it until you see that break of trend. So the break of trend happened. Now we zoom in. Break of trend on the higher time frames, or on the 12-hour, was right here. And typically when a trend breaks, there's a retest on the 382, 618, or 786. 786 is typically the one that you want, or the 618. But you can see in this example that it didn't hold any of them. It just went lower. Okay.
Yep.
So any kind of trade setup that people took here got invalidated. And you have to remember, just because things break out of trend doesn't mean all systems go. You still have to monitor your trade to make sure that it bounces off the correct fib. So now I'm going to try to identify a trend line from these bottoms.
What time frame you on there?
The 12-hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of far stretch. Let's go to the 8-hour. That might make sense right here. Okay. So this trend line kind of makes sense because there's quite a bit of touches. And if I was to guess, we're probably going to make a visit to the trend line. Let's see. That could also be 1. Because we have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch.
Yep.
So 2 trend lines to be aware of where they could fall. So just like what I told you guys about the top to the bottom, let's see where, like if you're in a long right now, what you could do is go from the very top to the bottom on the short-term time frames. And then we can just basically change this to sniper zone. So there's a chance that if we hold this trend line and we hold this structure, right? I don't know how it's going to go, but we're probably going to visit here, this wick.
Yep.
And you can see that it already did one time. And from that wick, from the sniper zone, there was a 23% dip. So when we get here, this is probably a nice take profit and expect a chance of a rejection. And that would probably be a 10% drop down to this trend line, 11% drop to this other trend line.
Yep.
So next, I'm going to open up a Lux Algo and get some confirmations of levels. So we have a order block right here, 27%. The red is thicker. So what that means is if we get through this order block, chances are, or not if, but chances are this order block will be eaten through, where if it was vice versa. So that's on the 8 hour. Let's see if there's something that appears on the 12.
Same.
Daily, right? So the daily's up here, 30%. Yeah. Now you can see that's pretty interesting, right? We have an order block here. On the daily, let's just simply draw it right here. And that makes sense, right? Because we saw this wick. It wicked right into this order block and completely rejected. And that rejection was how big? 31% rejection. Let's see. Let's take a look on the smaller time frames and see what the story was on that. Yeah, so it rejected. It took some time, but tried to hold, and then it just lost it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily an SFP where there's a extremely big sell-off. It tried, essentially. So Crow, let's see here. So yeah, cool. If you're bullish on Crow, I think maybe a rejection at the sniper zone, and then maybe a revisit to this resistance line. But essentially, if I were you, take some profits here, take some profits here, and then maybe wait for the retrace.
Cool. Could you do me a huge favor? Because a lot of people keep talking about, oh my God, we've missed the bull market, the pump's already happened, and afraid that the market's moved. You got to understand that what we've experienced in the last month is cute. It's not the bull run yet. It's the beginnings. It's poking its head up. David, could you just print that chart on the weekly? Go to the weekly chart. In the grand scheme of things, look how far we've done. We've done nothing. We're nowhere. I mean, it's cute. We popped out of the gutter, but crypto.com, this is crypto.com, which is one of the largest crypto companies out there. When the bull market happens, we're going to start heading way back up there. So if you're being pessimistic about what's already happened, relax. The real bull market is still on its way. And trust me, when it happens, you'll know it. Because you see the red candles where that big drop-off happened over by that big order block. You're going to see green candles that look the exact opposite as we come back up week over week. So that gap between those two order blocks, green candles start printing. They'll look like that in the opposite direction. Yeah. Then we're talking.
Yeah. When you start seeing all these altcoins pop 100%, then that's it's kind of the bull activation. So we're starting to see that on some of them.
Yep.
Bonk was the first one. I mean, we took the trade on Sunday and
boom,
160% move, and that's going to be very common with many, many, many tokens. So if you feel like you missed it, I wouldn't sweat it.
The trick is to catch them. You once they're pumping like that, you can't get in them. But you got to catch them. Like, look where you can catch that. When it was boring, when nothing was really happening. And if you catch it then, then you catch the move. And look where David caught that trade right there. You can see it. And was able to ride it.
Yeah, we longed it right here. We saw this break a trend, entered it, and then boom, it just went to
exactly.
Went to the heavens. So
yeah, don't chase these once they're pumping. That's the recipe for disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go find something else. So cool. What else you guys got? What else? Let me do a couple. I've got people asking for DYDX. So I got that one. Yeah, cool. And DYDX. There we go. Are we stuck?
Yeah, you'll have to share your present.
I'm trying. There we go. There we go. Okay, good. So DYDX, yeah, that's the weekly too. But let's come down to the shorter time frames. So DYDX actually kind of lost it. My original entrance was down over there, but I set this up so that we can on the the trend line, which is performing right there. We can pick it up on the retracement right over there. So we have touch, right? Basically at a strong horizontal level. I'd be careful of DYDX right now because it's got a little bit of a roof right there. But if you want to take a riskier entrance to that, actually right now is a pretty darn good time to do it because it's retesting that trend line after consolidation. A safer entrance for DYDX would be to let it break above that support level, come back and retest it, which would confirm that this is now, instead of resistance, that's support. Because depending on what Bitcoin does in the market, this could just continue consolidating or even drop back down. So I often like tokens to prove that they're going to do what I want them to do before I jump in after them. So touch is cool. Maybe a small entrance there, but my main entrance would be right there after it's broken, retested. What was resistance is now support. So that's one of them. Another one that got in was THETA. People were asking about that one. It's a little late to go after this one now. Caught this at the breakdown over here. Pumped up. It retested the entrance. You can see it right here. It came down, pushed up, retested, and then pushed. And that's what we're hoping that DYDX will do, is the same thing. Test, push up, retest. No FOMO allowed on that one. Pretty simple setups, nothing fancy, just straight old break and resistance, or SR flip as Sheldon calls it. What else we got? What else are people looking for? Sorry, it's hard to go back and forth between Zoom and StreamYard in the comments. How do you determine take profit zones? I use TP. You get your chart up. Okay, cool. You want to talk about how you determine when to take TPs since your chart's already up?
Oh, my chart's up?
Yeah.
Yours is the one.
Nope, it's yours.
Really?
Wait. Oh no. I'm sorry. I was on YouTube. My chart's up.
Yeah,
sorry, but I go back and forth, and I was lagging on YouTube, going, "Hey, it's David's chart." Yeah, the way you said it is you do TA on it, right? So, for example, on DYDX, right? Did a couple of things. First thing I did is I took a look at strong horizontal levels, right? Horizontal levels will be, likely to be respected. So this area right over here, right? Price came up and rejected it. So that means there's a lot of people looking to short right over there, which is what causes price to retrace or at least run into interference. So I set a first TP zone there. You could set some over here, but I'm on a lower risk trade right over here. So I'm going to go for that move right over there first. But you actually look for physical areas where you expect to see resistance. So I'm setting on this particular trade for that to pump up from here all the way about 11% to that TP zone. Now, sometimes what you can do is, if you don't know exactly, I set the other one just below this high right over there. But another good way to set TP zones is to use your Fibonacci, what's called an extension. So you take your Fibonacci and draw the last wave, right, down over here, right? And you've got your 382. Interesting how you can see how price is reacting at the 382 right there. It's causing rejection as you expect. Interesting to note how the 618 is also at a support zone, resistance zone right over there. Let me color it so you can see it better. Right there. I said this one over here, but if you're also looking for bigger ones, you can turn on what are called Fibonacci extensions. Fibonacci extensions are, you can usually it's a 382, 618, 786. You can turn on the 1.618 and the 2.618 to show potential markers up above. And if they correlate to something, that's even better. So for example, here's the 1.618, and I marked that as a TP zone. Interesting, it's just below that peak right over there. So it's kind of some correlation. So that's why I set that as TP zone 2. And you could even do one at 2.618, and yeah, there's nothing over there. So you can use a combination of analyzing strong resistance points in the past, or use a Fibonacci extension to kind of project where possible rejection points will be, and you'll be amazed at how consistent they are. So I hope that answers that question. David, you got a new question over there from people?
Yeah, a lot of requests. Somebody wants to see AVE, TIA, ARB,
AVE.
H4. Yeah, if you got AVE.
Yeah, AVE I marked out. I didn't take the trade because it was asleep, and I fully expected. I'm glad I didn't, because look what happened to AVE. Thank God for sleeping. Basically broke above, retest horizontal level. I marked it up. It started to pump, and then for some reason, AVE gave up the ghost and came back down to the support level. So it really was a break and retest to that trend, break, retest to the trend, which means now we can start looking for better entries in this zone down over there, which I haven't done. All right. So it's strong consolidation level. It had one spike down right there. But basically in this zone, this retest to that downtrend line, kind of right about there, would be a decent potential test. I'm not convinced about the stop. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I would, if you're going to take that trade, I would definitely have your stop loss at least below that wick right over there. But that's only 1.5%, so that's not bad. And don't be surprised on the higher time frame that this maybe want to be coming down and retesting. I'm going to get this all out of the way so you can see it. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing also came and tested this long higher time frame uptrend line right there, which will also then correlate to the 50-day moving average, right? Which, out of curiosity, I don't know if this is going to work anything, which will be just above the 618 on that last big pump. So the fib doesn't quite line up, but yeah, so I wouldn't worry about that much. But the intersection of this support level kind of lower, because you can see it's lower, trend line, and so I would start looking for entrances either here if it's going to reject, but if that doesn't work, then look all the way down at the 94.4 level, and you should probably get a solid entrance. By the way I trade, I will often take a trial trade, like take a trial right over there. If it doesn't work, I get stopped out, and maybe I lose 1%, and then I come down a couple percent lower. I pick up another trade lower that holds. And so my stop losses end up to bigger gains. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if I lose 1% on a stop, don't count leverage in this, and it drops 3 or 4%, I then have 3 or 4% more profit. So 4% more profit minus 1% loss is is more profitable. So don't be afraid of that. So if you wanted to try it around here, that'd be cool. If you lose it, pick it up at the intersection there, and Avi would be good.
Nice.
What else we got?
Somebody wants GALA APE.
Gala. Yeah, want to pull up Gala for us?
Yeah.
I haven't traded Gala in a little bit of forever.
Let me just. How do I bring up my screen again?
Under the bottom there is a present button.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the bottom. Click on present and then select the screen.
Oh, it says stop screen. It's like it's already sharing it, but I don't know how to bring it back. I guess I just need to stop and then.
And the three dots, it should tell you to do it, or double click it, or David can do it. I can't see it because I'm not.
It's fine. I'll just stop the share and then reshare. Boom,
Okay.
Share screen. Gala.
There we go. Nope. Now it's you. All right. Good.
Cool. I mean,
Hello.
I've actually I drew this a couple days ago
Gala short.
as a potential short. I don't know. The reason I was looking at that is because this wick over here. Let's see. Order blocks. Yeah, so I mean, I was looking at Gala as a potential head short. I think I set myself a personal alert. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it went off already. But I want to pay attention to, because over here, this is a lower high before the big drop. Boom. And then it was a 50% drop from that point. So I'm looking at this as a potential resistance area. I don't think, let me see if there's order blocks on the higher time frames. Yeah, boom. That's kind of on the weekly. So nothing on the daily. Well, yeah, daily right here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so if we blow through this lower high resistance area, we should continue higher. Shorts are a little bit risky right now. I mean, they're more for hedging and in case the market turns. Because the last thing you want is Bitcoin dumps 10%. You don't have a single short open. I always try to make sure I have some kind of short working in the background. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out because the longs end up paying for that stop. But yeah, continuation. So if you are in a long, TP areas.
I picked up my last Gala trade. I'm still in it at 0.2283. Very excited by this.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
So just keep this trend, guys. This trend line, because there's a chance that we're just going to keep dancing on the trend line. Right.
It's been very consistent, hasn't it?
Yeah. However, it might happen like that. We are going into the weekend, so that's what I was looking for, is that potential short on Gala, and just to write it down back to the trend line, which is nice 14%er. That's what I was looking at. That's kind of advanced, but as far as Gala goes, keep it going. Probably mark this area as a rejection area, so I'll call this the daily order block resistance, and just have awareness, because this is probably where you're going to TP.
Yep.
And if you got spot bags, 35% from where we're at right now.
Very, very healthy. Definitely pull some profit off when it hits resistance.
Yeah. I'll do APE real quick.
Yeah, cool.
So kind of just been following this trend line that presented itself. We got 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. I did enter a sneaky long on APE, and yeah, I saw this little break on the shorter time frame, and it really hasn't went yet, honestly. Like, I think it's going to go.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm expecting APE to run. I think there were some order blocks here before. Let's take a look. There it is. Changed a little bit. Yeah, so I would love for APE to make its run to this order block, which is a 22% move, which is probably what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see here. Rejected. Yeah. So kind of the same thing on GALA. Lower high, big move down, 53% move, slowly climbing back up.
Yeah. You're seeing that pattern over and over again on so many charts. And they're very similar right now.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm basically looking to add to my APE. If you know, the chances are this, you know, the story is it's staying in this trend line, and whether we do this kind of dance, like my goal is just to keep adding and adding. If the opportunity presents itself, but I don't. Maybe it's not. I mean, maybe this is it. I mean, we had this shorter time frame break a trend, popped his head up. And this is why I started the long. This is my entry. I didn't post it because it's kind of the stop loss doesn't make sense, but you can see all these order blocks as support. So I'm basically just going to add if anything. And
can you repeat that? You just said something interesting. You said you didn't post it because the stop loss didn't make sense.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna, you know, for especially newer traders, like. You know, the last thing I want is somebody saying, "Oh, this drawdown was negative," and like our goal is if we're going to give you a signal, we try to give you like a 2.5% stop loss. But you know, where is it going to stop? Where could it wick to? Right?
Yep.
So we're like 8% from this last wick right here, but we are 5.5% to this order block.
Yep.
So I'll be glad to add more to my position at these order blocks, and essentially my entry is just going to be lowered as I add and add and add. And then my goal is to write it to this new target that I just showed you guys. But right now in the shorter time frames, break a trend. See if there's like a 238. Let's see, 382 retest. Yeah, kind of already did the retest on the 382.
Actually, could you, while you've got that chart open, people are constantly trying to understand how to add on to a trade. And it works in both directions when you're adding on to a trade when price is coming down to get a better price. And what happens to your average position size, average entry, if you're adding on to a trade as it's going up. While you've got the chart open, can you kind of just show that?
Yeah,
people get very confused with that.
For sure. Let me just kind of explain this. Oops. Yeah.
Because this is important stuff.
Yeah.
Not for beginners, but this is, you know, if you're an intermediate trader and beyond, these techniques are incredibly powerful for building up a position.
So
go ahead. Oh no, I was going to say and getting a better entry price if you're getting in drawdown.
Okay. Just keep it simple. So let's just say that you entered this break. Okay, low leverage. As a beginner, I would always recommend 3x, 5x. But what happens is, and let me put the order blocks back in. Or did I delete that? I did. Okay. So what happens is, let's just say you have a position here. Let's just say this is $10. $10.
Right.
And
we can see that. Did you put?
say again?
Did you just type something in?
Yeah, $10. It's on the right here. Let me.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
Maybe I can center it. Coordinate style text right center.
There we go. Okay, got it.
And let me make the text bigger.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
So this is a $10 here, and then you have another order like right here, $10. So what happens is that 3x leverage, here's your entry. Obviously, if it goes up for every percent, whatever your leverage is, you gain that much, right? So if it goes up here, you're already at 3% profit. But if you come down, if it goes the other way, then you're negative 3%. You're negative 6%. You're negative 9% here. But if I have another order here, what happens is these two positions, which is $10 and $10, combines to $20. But this entry here now moves down here. Okay. And then this becomes $20 now. Yeah, and this is nothing because those merged, right? So now essentially my position was here, but now it's here. Okay. So having another order down here, for example, still at 3x leverage, -3, -6, -9%, -12%, like right here. So let's just say like right here. What I would do personally is I would have another $20 order right here. So if price action comes down, does the unexpected or whatever, it comes down to this order, what's going to happen is that this here now is going to be moved to the center in between, or maybe I could just do this. These two positions will be combined. My new entry is going to be right here. And then this is going to turn into 40, for example.
Mm-hmm.
These two positions are combined now. And now my entry's right here.
That's called your average entry, which is your break-even point.
Right. So now two orders have hit. I have a $40 position now. And my entry is that much better. Where my entry was here before, now it's up here. Or now it's here, for example. So let's just say another order, I have another order down here and it hits. It's the same thing. It's going to be merged down here. Now the entry becomes right there. And essentially, it's like riding the wave. I'm catching the moves down here and then increasing my position size, having a better entry. And then now the big move finally takes off.
Right.
And I have a bigger position size and I have a better entry. And then I just make that much more profits.
So what are the pros and cons of that technique?
The pros are better entry, bigger position size. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I still recommend low leverage. And this is kind of advanced, but when you start to see the upturn, right, you see confirmation in the move, and that's where you can increase it from 3x, and change it to maybe 7x. Because right? You know it's going to go now. And the science has proven that it will, right? The cons is if it keeps going down, then you're going to be at much bigger loss.
Right.
Okay. So if these orders hit and then it loses the trend line, okay, you're going to be, obviously negative here. So 3x leverage, -3, -6, -9, -12, -15%. And this is the point where you would probably cut your position because you lost the trend line. For me personally, though, with how long I've been in trading, I probably will pay attention to this wick here because chances are it might wick down here again and then come back up.
Yeah.
So those happen too, but you'll learn that in advanced trading whenever it wicks and then reclaims.
Yeah.
So you only want to do this kind of strategies if you're confident in the direction of where it's going to go. For me personally, I'm confident in APE. Why am I confident in APE?
Yeah.
Sheldon is expecting a big move on APE. Okay. The whole like meme coin NFT stuff is kind of coming out of the woodworks right now.
Right.
APE really hasn't had its run yet. It really hasn't. We're kind of just been consolidating in this triangle. And if you look here, it kind of looks like an ascending triangle. And what typically happens in an ascending triangle formation? There's a breakout, right? Ascending triangle means it's trending upwards. And then we have this potential resistance. You have the 200-day moving average right here. So typically we'll do something like this. And then once it gets tight, boom, freaking massive move to the upside and wrecks all the shorts. And then that's, you know, obviously that's whenever you're jumping for joy and profits. But, you know, for me, I'm setting alerts and taking profits. I'm just staring at it. So it probably calls.
So the pros are you can instead of getting stopped out early, you can weather a drawdown to different levels and use that to build bigger positions. So when the turnaround happens, you're in a great position. The downside is that it continues going down to the point where you've just got to get out to save the account.
Yep. In a situation like that, yeah, you know, when you start to see it lose levels and you start to see it losing moving averages, you don't want to be sitting there praying that it goes back up. You just want to get the heck out.
Right.
So for me,
I did that once. I've only had it bail on me once. I was in Australian dollar, US dollar, and I was grid trading down using martingale, which is where you double at each level, which you were talking about. And I had finally had to bail when I was $12,500 in the hole. So that was my one ugly experience with that. But usually, if you're confident in the move, it's a great technique. But it's not for beginners, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not for beginners. I don't recommend it unless you've been trading for a while. You're experienced. You understand the fib levels. You understand the trend lines. You understand the order blocks. You know exactly what you're looking at. You don't want to like be blindly doing this on a token that you haven't charted, right? Like, what's one that I haven't charted? I mean, I pretty much charted almost everything here.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like that.
Token, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not going to just put an order here and then be like, okay, I'm going to add here and then I'm going to add here and I hope it goes to the moon. No, there's a lot of thought that goes behind it. You make a plan, you execute the plan, you have a plan for if it goes bad, what are you going to do? And then you have a plan for if it goes great, what are you going to do? Like you already know the future of both sides. And when you do that, you take a trade with no stress, no anxiety. You're not sitting there freaking out, staring at a negative P&L. Like whenever I stare at negative P&L, like it is what it is. I'm just waiting. It's just a waiting game.
And that's back to what we talked about an hour ago, which is that's the emotional management. Because if you're gripped by fear, you can't do that. You'll freak out. So you've got to definitely, before you do that kind of trading, you definitely need to have control of your emotions, and red candles shouldn't be bothering you. Drawdown should be just something that happens that you know how to manage. So cool. And can I take a second to show kind of the inverse of that? I built on the way back up.
Yeah, let me, or I don't know how I can.
Give me 1 second. Hey guys.
What's up?
Oh, hey guys, is it that time? All right.
Do your
Go
thing.
ahead. Go ahead.
Let me show one last thing, and then God, all the controls I used to have are. All right, hang on a second. Present.
My dog's gonna
All
bark.
right, let me do it again. Present. 88. There we go. So in the opposite, we are building a position. It's very simple where you, let's say you have a trade here, right? And can you? Oh, you can't see my screen yet.
No, sir. No, sir.
How come it's not working? There we go. So just, basically there's a trade and let's say you take a $10 trade. And this is Sheldon talks about how you build a position like this. So you have a trade, it comes in, boom, boom, you enter the trade right there. And now you want to, let's say it's a small trade and you want to build in it. What you do is you basically wait for price to push up and do a retest, right? Build a flag and expect to do something like that. So you just simply set up just like a new trade, right? You put your trend line in, probably your Fibonacci, you'd match it to a 382 or 618 or something. But let's say you did a $10 trade here. Here's your entry and here's your stop. So let's say you do a $10 trade and you want to build on this trade at the break of this flag right there. What you do is, let's say you want to add another $10 to it. We'll leave leverage out of the equation. What happens if you have a $10 trade here, right? And you add another $10 trade over there. So now you have a $20 position. Two things will happen. Thing one is your average entry will go from here and it'll move it to right in the middle. Now, if you add more, it'll move it higher. So you want to be very judicious with this because you don't want your new average entry to be up over here because that puts the trade at risk in case there's a quick wick out. So let's say if you do $100 down below and $100 right over there, or $10 below and $10 there, it'll move your average entry to the middle. As importantly, that now lets you take your stop loss, which was right over there, right? And it lets you take your stop loss and move it to below your new entry, above your new average entry. So now, even though you doubled the size of your trade, it's a no-risk trade. If price goes to hell in a handbasket, you get stopped out in a little bit of profit and you walk off to the next one and there's no risk. So make sure after you do an add-on to a trade, which is the inverse of what David showed you, tracking it down, that you always move your stop up to a position so that you're not risking twice as much money. So that's how you use those techniques.
Nice, man.
So guys, Eddie, what's up? And Beth, what are you guys doing?
I get to wear a scarf in Florida. I'm so loving it.
A scarf in Florida?
Okay,
What's
it's
wrong
like 65, but I'm wearing a scarf because I can.
Okay. All right. Well,
I get cold.
I'm going to
I'm
ask you questions about that later. What's going on with you, Eddie?
I know I'm a little crazy. I get cold.
Not
Eddie-
much. Not much, man.
Eddie, I'm gonna brag on you for a second, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Is it true the rumor I heard that you made more money last week than you did the whole month before?
Yeah, I did. Not something I want to talk about on air, but yeah.
I just brag on you. Congratulations, brother. You're so amazing. Really proud of the work you guys are doing. So
Market's given. You got to take when it's doing it. Put your foot
Take
on
a
the gas
profit.
and go with it.
Yep.
really cool. So what are you guys going to talk about?
Trading psychology, briefly. I'm going to go over some stuff.
Okay.
Just my experience as a day trader, things I've figured out, by doing that. And I think we're going to do, this is actually Beth's idea, and I think it's great. It's you pick the next topic, so we're going to let the audience pick what to talk about for that.
Cool. You're going to have to keep an eye on YouTube and StreamYard at the same time, which has been a little bit of a challenge, but have fun with that. And you're building on what David and I, an hour ago, our previous session was all trade psychology. So I think that's the theme of the week, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw what you guys were talking about. So I was like, I definitely tuned in for it because I was curious to see. I'm like, you know what? And there's so much to talk about too. So it's like everything you said, I'm like, this is great points, but like it doesn't really even dive into what I'm talking about. So it's just such a vast topic. And I think it's overlooked. And I know from the community, the students, they were always asking questions about it because TA, you can figure the TA out, but the psychology, that's where it's at.
It's harder and it's more worth it too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, great guys. Well, David and I just finished 4 hours together, 2 hours on Sniper Club this morning from 6 a.m. my time till 8. And then we immediately jumped onto this. So David, this has been a total pleasure hanging with you for the last 4 hours.
It's fun, man. Yeah.
Yep. And you guys have fun, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah,
and
great stream, by the way, guys.
All the people watching, thanks for being wonderful and awesome as always. And we'll see you again.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Great stream, guys.
Good job, guys. Hey, everybody. Yes, I've got all of the questions on YouTube. So if you guys have any questions as we're going through this, feel free and type them in the chat, and we will get them answered for you.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of PowerPoint, nothing too crazy, just some stuff I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of insight on. So just a little bit about me, so you can know where my experience comes from. I got in crypto probably November 21 at the top of the bull market. I had to learn the hard way, just like most do. And I took 2 years, the following 2 years, to teach myself and to use every resource available and teach myself how to trade. I joined cohort 5. That was my first, the first time I really had exposure to sniper school. I was a Banter fan before that, but yeah, I went full time, I think a little bit before cohort 5 as a full-time trader. I'm a day trader, scalper usually. So I take maybe 1, 2, 3 trades, maybe a day, 15-minute, 1-hour time frames. So yeah, I pretty much experience every emotion you can have as a trader, because, I do this every day. And now, now that it's full time, it's like, I have to make sure I hit my numbers so I can make sure my bills are paid at the end of the month, and that I'm still growing my account the way I want to. So a lot of it, trust me when I tell you, a lot of it was a learning experience. So I kind of just want to share with you guys, and hopefully you can get something out of this. Hopefully I can relate to you guys in some way. I know we all struggle with the psychology part of it. Hey, Beth, I know you're going to keep an eye on the chat. If
Yep,
there's
I
any
am
questions,
keeping an eye on the chat. People are asking, were you making money during the bear market? And I believe you were.
yeah, I'll give you guys a little brief. So I was doing pretty well. I was averaging a little bit, probably the last year, I've been averaging just about 10% a month returns on my portfolio. That's my trading account. Since sniper school, and this is where I'm going to brag a little bit, but since sniper school, I've been noticing a steady increase. It's been going up 13%, 15%.
Same.
I think this last month I hit close to 20% returns, and this month I think I'm going to smash that. So,
Yeah, you will. You will. I mean, and for those that don't know me, I got into sniper school back in 2020, just 2022, but I've been into crypto since 21. Those that were on earlier saw my story about getting wrecked. But now being a mod here in this community, everyone is just so fantastic. I mean, Eddie has taught me how to scalp. Like, I'm a scalping genius now, thanks to Eddie. Not genius, but
you're very good at it.
I looked at my spot account that I started a spot account in MEXC a month and a half ago, and it's up 185%. So I was like,
that's awesome.
Wow, doing something right. So that is what we're here to teach you guys. If you have any questions, people are saying they bought their Bitcoins at the all-time highs. I get it, but guess what? So did I. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you to sell it. But when you have a strategy and you stick to that strategy, and you can mentally be prepared. And this is what Bruce and the other, mentors and mods had taught me. Don't worry about what you're going to win. Worry about what you can afford to lose, because once I had that mentality, and if you don't feel comfortable getting into a trade, get out. Because for those that, were on earlier, I was very blessed to get into an exchange very early. They went bankrupt. Did I make money from them? Yes. Was I hacked? Yes. Did I lose money? Yes. But this school and this community has changed my life. If you stick to it, and if you have a full-time job, so what? Have a full-time job just whenever you can. Get on Zoom, be active, and don't get upset if you lose a trade. Like, get stopped out. Use stop losses, and Eddie and I will talk about that. But I have so many people that will call me and just say, "Oh my God, you just did that, or you just bought that, or you're at this restaurant. How are you affording that?" Took me a while, and I'm not perfect. I lose. But when I saw, again, like that spot, my long term, I'm not even going to tell you how much is on there, because when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. So now, it's a mentality of, like Sheldon and the team says, you can't get emotional, and you're always going to get emotional, right? You lose. You're like, I'm an athlete, a former athlete. So I'm like, dang it. But all the TAs are right. Sometimes the market's going to go against you. But
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's any questions regarding,
I'm looking right now. What do you look for, Eddie, when looking for a scalp?
When looking for a scalp, I'll tell you what, guys. 5 o'clock today, 5 o'clock Eastern my time. So that's in 4 hours from now. We're actually going to be going over trading styles, me and the other American moderators and team, and I will be talking about how I go through scalps. So tune in then. I'm going to get into the trading psychology. Beth, if there's any questions while I'm going through the presentation,
I'm watching.
just stop me and let me know so I can, go over it.
Of course.
Don't want to waste too much time on this, guys. Just kind of want to go over a few things and then let you guys, ask your, pick your topic, ask your questions.
There are questions, just so you're aware, Eddie, of how do I capitalize on my profits? What should I do? Things like that.
I mean, all right, give me 1 second. So I'm going to share. There we go. So how do you capitalize on profits? Well,
yeah, like how you decide when to take them, how you capitalize, all that good stuff, which took me a while too.
How do you capitalize? Well, going through Sniper School 1, figure out your TA, figure out your levels ahead of time. And then honestly, from there, it's really just about trading coins you're familiar with and getting understanding with the levels that you need to take profits at, and then setting those limits ahead of time and those targets and sticking to your plan, not letting emotions get in the way. So, all right. So kind of just gave you a little bit of brief background about me. So a couple things, and look, there's a lot of emotions that we all understand. And Beth, just let me know everything's streaming properly.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So there's a lot of emotions, and I'm only going to cover the ones, honestly, that I think we can all relate to and relate to me personally, because I'm going to draw from personal experience, not something you would read on Wikipedia or a textbook. So let's just go through a few, and I'll give you an example of how they apply in trading. So the first one, I'm sure we can all agree with, is fear. How does fear affect us in our trading? Well, fear will cause us to panic sell. We're in a trade, and let's say we jump in, whether we're over leveraged or not, and you start to see those big red candles, and you start to see your P&L starting to go into the red. You're losing money on it, and this thing kicks in, fight or flight. And just like if you were in a life or death situation, I was a police officer for 6 years before I got into trading, and I could tell you right now that the same feeling I feel during a trade, when a trade's going against me and I have enough money on it to make me like a little anxious and a little nervous, it's the same feeling I got when I was in some of the craziest situations as an officer, life and death situations. Our bodies don't know the difference. We just associate that emotion. And for us, losing money, the fear of being wrong, the fear of losing a trade, the fear of failure, if you're really depending on that money to live, or to pay bills or to do something with, like, those all just like trigger that fight or flight response, and that can cause you to make emotional decisions. Fear of execution. This is something I think a lot of the students that I talk to, and maybe some of you are struggling with. Taking that first trade, you went through Sniper School. Now you're trying to figure out how do I actually execute? Like, I see the setup, I do my TA, but when price gets there, I'm too nervous. I see these red candles, because typically the way we're taking trades, we're not taking trades on these pumps. We're grabbing these pullbacks, and they're scary areas. And I know Bruce talked about this earlier when he was talking about it. Like, everybody feels it, all of us, all traders. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, we all feel that same fear. So the big thing is, with the fear of execution, like, that's something we're all going to go through. We just have to treat it like any hurdle in trading. We have to figure out ways to overcome it. And then eventually you'll start to be more comfortable with it. And there's the big one, and I think this one we can all relate to, is the fear of being wrong. Not a lot of us like to admit when we're wrong, especially when we're confident in our trading and we've have some success. And I think a lot of it falls in part with, we don't want to be wrong, because failure means that the work we did, our thesis, our judgment, and everything towards that trade is now in question. And us as humans, we're critical. We like to look at our mistakes and try to figure out what we did, what we can do better to improve upon it. And a lot of times it'll give feelings of of doubt, and a lot of things will start to creep in. So that's a big one. And I think that one right there, I can tell you, the fear of being wrong will keep you in a position too long, way past when you're supposed to cut it. And it's what gotten me liquidated in the past, and I'm sure other traders have probably gotten wrecked as well. So that's a big one. I'm going to move on to greed, just kind of giving you guys an overrun. So greed, aiming too high with your top. Everybody experiences greed. We all get there. It's that feeling of like euphoria. It's like when you set up a, let's say you're in a trade and you get to your TP, but the market's so bullish and everything's going right. So you move your TP higher and you don't take profits like you originally set out. That's greed. That's when you know things are getting a little crazy in the market. And you have to remember, everybody else is feeling the same way. It's not just you feeling this, everyone's feeling that. So you have to start to recognize these things. And another one's not taking profits. And it kind of goes with, maybe moving your stop loss, but or moving your TP. But like sometimes we let these things ride up and we get to a good level, and then we're not willing to part ways. At the end of the day, we're traders. We're not supposed to marry these things, these coins. And I know sometimes we think of these crazy potential that like crypto can get us, like these 10, 20, 100x's, people making life-changing money, and it leads people to not taking their profits. And that's a big thing. And I'm sure you've heard it a million times already by everybody in crypto school. We all kind of quote it. I think Craig's the first person I heard say it. So, take your profits or someone else will. So that's a big one I kind of want to talk about as well. Here's a one I'm sure we all can all have been there and done this. FOMO, fear of missing out. Beth knows what I'm talking about. Beth's like me. Me and Beth are very similar in trading. We see setups and we're like instantly excited. We're like looking for our entry, and sometimes the patience isn't there because that fear of missing out comes in, because you see the setup and let's say it's still up, it's still retracing and it hasn't hit your target. Let's say you're waiting for a 618 bounce and it still has a few percent to go before it gets there. Sometimes you're just like, what if it doesn't get there? What if I miss the trade?
Know.
And Beth knows what I'm talking about. So that's something we all deal with.
Yeah.
And yeah, so FOMO's a real one. FOMO's for real. I talk about a couple ways that I deal with it. I can identify the most with everything on here is probably FOMO and overconfidence. I struggle with those the most. So I can give you guys some real insight on how I deal with it. And I could tell you right now, I love this phrase, and this phrase helped break me out of the FOMO thing. And I think maybe you guys get a funny story out of it. Like Dylan talks about going for a ride a lot. If you ever watched any of the lives, well, I've gone for a few rides and they are not fun. When I tell you, like when you're in a leverage position, and let's say you jump in a bad area, but the trade's still good, but you jumped in way before the levels, but the trade's still valid. So you're just like, I'm going to hold it until these levels break. Well, now you're stuck holding this position. And like when I say it's a stressful thing, the market's not going to always just bounce instantaneously. It likes to mess around with you. It likes to sit down there and play with you, play with your emotions. And if you're in a trade and you're already in the red because you FOMO'd in, I can tell you right now, it is going to stress you out beyond belief. It is so much easier just to wait at the end of the day and just like jump in at the right time and not have to go with it. You're all going to experience it. I promise you. Like, and it's not, and here's the thing. You want to experience it early in your trading journey, not later when things are going to be like, you're playing with more money. When you do it early, when you make the mistakes and they don't cost as much. So, but everybody's going to experience that at one point where they're going to jump in a trade and they're going to ride that trade, and it's going to feel like a roller coaster that like, okay, you jumped in at the top. Now you have to wait for it to come all the way back around. So
patience is virtue. Yeah, there's some comments saying, Chris is trying to get back what he lost. Admitted that it was completely greed.
Yeah,
more loss. So you just have to have patience. I mean, I have a lot of patience as a person. So, and it's still hard for me. But now, if 4 out of my 5 check marks are not there, I don't go in. Exactly. Now, I don't like to set limits, but I do. Sometimes limit orders don't go through, which one happened to Matic to me twice. I was very upset, but I will set alerts, and I will never get into a trade again. I'm not going to say never, unless those things are there. You really have to be patient. And what Eddie's saying makes so much sense to me because I've done and I have all of those emotions daily. So you just have to and it kind of think of, if you're having a bad day in trading, like if you lose 1 or 2 trades, walk away. Don't walk away.
Absolutely.
If you're doing really well, then you get greedy. Oh, wow, I've won 4 trades in a row, man. I'm going to go all in. Never go 100% of whatever you have in your account in one trade. You can, but don't call me crying if you lose.
So the next two kind of work they're kind of the opposite, polar opposites of there. So the first one's overconfidence. This happens when you win a trade, or maybe you're on a winning streak. You start to basically feel like, I'm invincible, I'm smarter than the market. That's when the euphoria kicks in. That's when you start aping in the positions just because you don't think you can lose. This is it's a high. It's the endorphins. It's all these chemicals going off in your brain that are basically giving you this feeling, this great feeling. And it comes like when you win a hard fought match, or like you pass a test that you studied for, like that same feeling. That's the same feeling we get. When you start to feel that, that's when you know you're reaching that overconfidence. And the last one's an underconfidence. And that's when you're dealing with some losses. Maybe you took a big loss and you broke your rules and you got wrecked, or you're on a losing streak, and it happens to all traders. I've gone on streaks where I've lost 6, 7, 8 trades straight in a row, and it hurts, I can tell you. And my P&L is pretty good. It's above 60. It's above 66% most months, and you're gonna lose trades in a row. I don't care if you have a 90% win rate. You're gonna get strings of losses and strings of wins. It happens on both ends. And dealing with that underconfidence and that feeling of self-doubt, imposter syndrome. You may be a successful trader. Your numbers show it. Your P&L shows it. You'll start to question. Like, am I actually going to be able to do this? Like, is this something I'm good at? And you'll get those feelings. And these are things I've noticed I've gone through. So I'm going to get a little bit more into depth of that, but I kind of want to talk about this thing that, like, some traders call it the loop, but I identify it as a trading loop as well. But this is how I experience, and I'm explaining how this is how emotions can affect you. So step one, you execute a trade, but you exit it either early. You exit either early due to fear that, like, hey, you didn't stick to your TA, it was supposed to hit your stop loss, but you exited thinking like, you know what, I'm going to save myself money. Or you exited early and took profits too quick and never allowed hit your TPs, and then you exited prematurely, right? And then what happens? You jump out the trade, right? You're out of the trade. You think you did the right thing, and then you watch the trade go exactly how you originally planned it. Whether on either side you're in. So now the feelings, you hit step 2 of the loop. Feelings of regret start to kick in. FOMO starts to creep in. You start to hyper focus on what you could have made, what you're missing right now, the gains you just missed out on. You start to feel this entitlement, like, I should have those gains. And these thoughts will creep in at almost every trader that goes through this. And then what happens? The FOMO, you get to step 3, leads to you basically either chasing a new trade or trying to jump back in the trade that you just exited. And I can tell you one thing, chances are if you you exit a trade early and you're in this stage and you jump back into that trade, I don't care what you think your TA says. I could tell you 9 times out of 10, you're probably revenge trading, and you're just making the TA up in your mind to kind of like back up why you should jump in that trade, because you're starting to have those emotions. And I've been there, and I know personally, like I've made some crazy lines and some theories in my head, like, okay, this is why I should jump back in this trade. Some crazy patterns I've never traded before. I'm trying to find anything to basically back up my theory of why I should jump back in, because I don't want to miss out. Right. So likely it's going to result in what? Bad entries, improper planning. And you're going to be executing on emotions at this point. So you get to step 4. Now now the trade's going against you again. Chances are, because you jumped in on emotions, you didn't plan the trade out, and you're probably over leveraging, because chances are there's a good chance, if you're like me, you probably even increased the amount of the trade that you actually added, because you're trying to you're thinking about making up the losses that you had earlier. So now you aped in, and you realize you're over risked, or you're in a bad trade after you're in the trade, and then the first dip you panic back out. Or the opposite happens. You get a quick wick up. You're like, I'm jumping out. I'm going to take the quick profits. You jump out of the trade. So you exit prematurely. You don't stick to the TA. At this point, there is no TA. You jumped in on emotions. Trade goes back in the direction you intended, and your original TPs hit again that you set. So now you're basically really hitting rock bottom. It's all you're feeling. The feelings of regret are even worse. You're looking desperately for a new trade. You're beginning to doubt your judgment. You're like, am I losing it? Like, what's going on? Why am I missing? Like, I'm right, but I'm not, sticking to my plan. And then I need to make it up. And you start to go through this whole loop. And basically you'll just end up jumping back in increasing your position to make up for the losses. And step 6 is you rinse and repeat until you're wrecked. And I've been there. I've wrecked an account doing exactly this. And I kind of want to share that with you guys because it may not happen exactly like that, but I'm sure there's some
No,
similarity.
yeah, there's people that are saying that's happened to me. Totally been there. Been in the loop for weeks. It's happened. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So the key to knowing you're in the loop is understanding what the loop is and understanding the feelings and realizing when a trade's going against you or just when you're out of it. Like you can't be trading that day. For me, I have a thing. If I take 2 losses in a row, I'm done trading for a while. I take a break, whether it's I wait till the next session. If it's a New York session, I'll wait for the Asia session. I'll just wait for the next day. Little things like that. I can tell you, the key is to take a break at that point. Go talk to your trading group. Go jump in. Go see what they're up to. You know, maybe they can tell you what went wrong on your trade. You know, you can reach out to your resources. But the key thing is to not jump back into trading when this happens, because it's only going to result in pretty much you getting wrecked.
I almost did it today because I got a stacks. And I'm like, no, I'm waiting for it to come to my entry. No.
So basically,
Yep.
all the emotions we just talked about, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of how to combat it. Fear. The key is do your TA, and then don't just do TA on how, if you're going thinking you're bullish, don't just do the TA on the long side. Do the TA on the short side. Get both ends of it. Get both scenarios. What can possibly go wrong? Plan for all outcomes when you do your TA. If you're trying to catch a 618 bounce, make sure you know where the 786 bounce is at as well. Like make sure that's marked out on your chart, because that's your theory may not go wrong. And if your backup plan happens to be, your backup plan may end up being the right plan. So having these backup plans will, like when you do your TA, will basically help you predict what could possibly happen. If one thing doesn't happen and something else happens that you were basically anticipating as well that could happen, you're not going to be as shocked and you're not going to panic. And that's the big thing. And that's the one thing I've learned. And the other thing is knowing why you're taking the trade before you open your exchange. You need to go into your trading view. And this is what I preach this to anybody who's like a newer trader. Don't jump into your exchange. Don't do your TA on your exchange first off, because it's just going to make you impulsive to jump in when you start seeing those candles to try to open a position. Do your TA on TradingView before you even jump into your exchange. If your exchange is attached to your TradingView, then you need to be a little bit more disciplined. But what I'm saying is do your TA first before you even look at an exchange or the buy button. Know why you're taking the trade. Know where your entrance and exit points are, where the trade can go wrong, where you want to take profits along the way. Have all this stuff marked out before you even jump into a trade, because when you have a plan and you've created a plan, it's so much easier to stick to that plan. Well, sticking to the plans, yeah, you have to stick to it. But I'm saying it's a lot easier to stay in a trade and not get shook out when, like, you know, the red candles start coming and things start to get scary, because you had a plan and you'll just remind yourself, look, I planned for this. If it goes below, it's fine. I have a stop loss there to protect me. You start thinking like that, the fear is going to start to go out the window. You'll still experience it, you'll still understand it, but you'll learn how to use it in your favor. So kind of what I was talking about: set the stop losses, execute a trade, and think that stop is basically a fee you paid to enter that trade. Look at it as a write-off already. Like let's say my stop loss is $20. When I enter that trade, I'm not thinking about the $60 I can make. I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to lose that $20. $20 is out the door. Let's see how this trade plays out. And I think on that mindset, because if you do, there's not much of an upset when your stop loss gets hit. Okay, I planned, if it did go against me, that's what I can control how much I lost. I lose. And if you start thinking on like how much I can make, when that loss hits or when things start to go in the red, you're going to start panicking. You're going to start thinking, I should cut my losses quickly, and you're not going to let your trade play out. And that's the big thing. So don't budge once you set your stop loss. And never bad to take profits, but like I recommend, don't move your stop loss once it's already there to try to stay into a trade, and let your trade play out. Trust your TA, trust the thought and the planning you put into a trade, and ignore the emotions. If you're afraid to execute, lower your risk amount. Simple. Understanding trading is about winning and losing. You're never going to get anywhere if you never take a trade. So start small. It's not going to affect you, but start building the amount you risk each time, so you start to get those emotions. There's going to be a level you're going to hit in a trade where there's going to be a risk tolerance, and you're going to feel that. Like when you cross that area, like for some people, it may be $50. Some people, it may be $5. Some people, it may be $5,000. There's a certain level that like, I'm not comfortable risking more than this on a trade. So don't. And then build your confidence slowly. Something, a tip that Bruce actually gave me. Best way to build it slowly. Increase 10% a month on how much you're risking as your account builds. You know, do it small increments so you don't really feel it. You may feel a little uncomfortable, but you're not throwing yourself into the fire when you take it by like just scaling up too quickly or taking too big of a risk. And the one thing is, the big thing is, honestly, understand you're going to be wrong and accept that when you're wrong, get out quickly. Cut losers quick, hold the winners. And that's part of admitting you're wrong as well. You need to be able to admit you're wrong. And it's the only way you're gonna become a successful trader and a consistent, profitable trader, is being able to understand that you're going to be wrong. Your TA sometimes may be perfect, but the trade's going to go against you, just like Beth said. So I just want to make sure we're good on time. All right, so greed. It's okay to aim high in trading, but you want to take profits along the way. What I recommend is, if you're one of those traders that you notice that you're taking a trade and you're riding it in the green, right? And then it gets almost up to your stop loss, up to your take profit, and then it comes back down and you end up getting stopped out, or you end up riding it in the red for days. If you're one of those traders that you have a tendency to hold it too long, or maybe you set like very high, you set the bar high for where you're going to take profits, start laddering out. Use a laddering out, like some type of strategy. For me, I break it down in threes. When I hit a certain point on my trades, whether it's 5% or 10%, I take a third of my trade out. And then when I hit the next level, for me, it's like, I think 5 and 10% on a trade on most days on a scalp. That's when I'll take my first 2 profits. And then I'll have my moon bag, the bag that I'm like, the little I set aside, where I can put my stop loss above break even or at break even. So it's a risk-free trade. And then you just let that thing ride out. And if it stops you out, you've taken profits, and it's a winning trade regardless. So ladder out. Don't exit all at once, because if you do, sometimes, especially if you're exiting prematurely, you get caught up in that loop we talked about earlier. So understanding that small wins add up. Yeah, like have you heard the baseball like analogy so many times, and it makes a lot of sense. If anybody's familiar with sports, it's not about trying to hit that grand slam, or it's about getting those little hits that win you the game. It's those little hits, and the little wins are going to add up. That's what's going to build your portfolio. You're not always going to get these 30. Like, look, I know you guys in Discord, you're seeing some P&Ls. Sometimes you're seeing 300-400% P&Ls. That's not a normal thing for most traders. They come along. Don't get me wrong. You'll once in a while you'll get a few of those, but you'll find that like the small wins are more consistent. They come a lot easier. They're a lot less stressful, and they're the ones that really like get your account up and going, especially in the beginning. Talked about this earlier. Take profits, or someone else will. Don't need I say anymore. And share trades with other traders who will hold you accountable when greed sets in. If you're part of a trading group, you guys are all part of Sniper School, I'm sure at some point. You guys or Whale School, but you guys are probably associated with Banter. If you're not, join up, and you'll find other like-minded people who you can maybe, whether it's regional, whether it's people you just like, you click with in the chat, maybe it's guys from the cohorts you've gone through school with. You'll find ways and people who are willing to sit there and look at your charts. And when you're in a trade, they'll let you know, like, hey man, you should probably take profits, or like you're hitting resistance. And find people that are willing to hold you accountable. Don't hang out with people who just agree with you. You want people who are going to call you on your BS. You need those people in your life, especially when you're a trader, because you're going to feel these emotions, and there's going to be times that you don't want to get out, and someone's going to probably jump in and be like, look, intervention time, like you need to sell. And I know Sheldon talks about this a lot, and it's real. It's real. And find people. I like to post my TPs when I post in my trading chat ahead of time, because when price hits those TPs, if I'm not out and I'm still in the trade, and someone asks me, why are you still in your trade? Like, I guarantee one of the traders is going to be like, oh, didn't you TP? I thought you TP. Like, someone's going to call me out. I promise. And so find people who will do that for you. FOMO. With time and experience, this will get easier for all traders. The key is discipline, sticking to your trading plan, and understanding another trade is always going to come along. We're in a market that's 24/7, guys. You can find, trust me when I tell you, you can find a trade every single day that fits your style. Unless you're a swing trader that you're looking out on the daily or the weekly, I promise you, if you're anywhere on the 1 hour or the 4 hour, you're going to find some type of altcoin that hits your TA. It works. It hits all your triggers for you to take a trade. It's there. And if you can't find it, jump in on Live and find other traders like Dylan, some of the Sheldon. They're giving setups every day. Sniper Club, they're giving setups there.
Sniper Club.
Yeah, like trust me when I tell you, you'll find setups. So don't FOMO in. You don't need to. And if you feel like you're FOMOing and you feel like you're starting to feel antsy, like I need to get in, you start to feel that urgency, that sense of urgency, find ways to sit on your hands. For me, I go take a walk. I'll go take my dog out for like a 20-minute walk, because by the time I get back from that walk, I know myself, that FOMO is gone. It's almost like when you have a food craving. You know how they say wait a few minutes before, try to sit on it for like 10, 20 minutes before you try to go get the food, because chances are that craving will disappear. It's the same thing in FOMO. These emotions will disappear. You just got to give yourself a little bit of time to cool off. And you're going to experience this. You're going to make mistakes. But the key is to learn from it and aim not to repeat. So understand when you're feeling these things, maybe write it in your journal. It's a good way to mark it down. I know a few traders that do that. Bruce is the one that taught me how to do that. So just little things to combat it, guys. And getting overconfidence. You just want to trade. Enjoy it. Absolutely. But when you're feeling this feeling of euphoria or feeling of invincibility, get away from the screen for a little bit. Do not jump back into another trade. Give yourself some time to like come down. It's like if you're in any experience in life, when you're feeling that euphoria, you're not going to make the best decisions. You're going to just, take extra risk. We take more risk when we're euphoric. It's just the way our psychology works. It's the way our human nature works. So find ways. For me, again, taking a walk, or I give myself like a timeout period if I just want to trade before I jump back in. And I definitely don't jump back in the same coin right away, because then I know it's the euphoria kicking in. So these emotions play out. It takes a certain amount of time. Each person, it might take you 10 minutes to cool off. Some people, they might have to walk away for an hour. Some people have to call it for the day. Depends on
sometimes
emotions. So figure yourself out, find out your tolerance, find out what works for you, stick to your time frames. And the last thing, guys, overconfidence or underconfidence. We all feel it after a big loss or a string of losses. The big thing is don't quit. I'm telling you right now, I've gotten there before. I promise you, every trader's gotten to that point where they've had thoughts creep in the back of their minds of thinking of quitting. The key is don't, because I promise you there'll be a breakthrough one day, and you're gonna get those losses again. You're gonna get those feelings of underconfidence, even when you're on a string, even when you are a successful trader and you're consistently profitable. You're still gonna get that. But it's like anything in life. When something gets hard, do you quit? No. You work harder. You find the mistakes, you identify it, and you work through it. And you journal. Journal everything. Journal all your trades. Journal your feelings.
Yes, big.
Yes. Go ahead, Beth. Go ahead, Beth.
Everything. No, I was just going to add to the comments that you were saying. I mean, we're in Discord all the time. So, I mean, Eddie and I and the team, or the squad team and some of the mods, we do every Sunday. I know Eddie does Friday. So, I mean, come on these AMAs with us in Discord. Post your charts in Discord. We're very, very, very active in Discord. So, I mean, I know some people I don't think go on Discord enough, and I get it. People get really busy. But everything you just said, I completely concur. And it's just about really finding what you like. Everyone's like, when do you trade? What time do you trade? What coins do you trade? I can't tell you what to trade. You're going to find the coins, like Eddie said, that you like. Get familiar with them, short and long, write everything down. And I think the more active you are, if you're part of Sniper Club, I mean, I don't think there's one person I've met that joined Sniper Club that hasn't been profitable yet. But again, you have to develop your own sense of trading. Everyone's like, well, I want to be just like you. I'm like, no, you don't. You want to be you.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, I can't believe how much better I've gotten since I came here. Sometimes I can't believe that I call things myself. Like, oh my God, I just did that. But I do. I mean, I've been through everything that Eddie was saying. I'm very, very cautious about my take profits. I do like Eddie does. I have a 3-level system. I also have a 3-level to 5-level entry system, depending on the time frame. So, have there been times where I'm just like, I'm done? No, done. Of course. Walk away. And then there's days where I'll win 6 trades in a row. I'll be scalping, and I think I'm God's gift to the world.
We've all been there.
Yeah, we call my friends like, we're going to Degen, we're gonna party, everything's on me, and I'm like, I'll be in a trade and then I'll lose. So like I shouldn't have taken that last trade. I should stop. So I agree with 100%. But again, the AMAs that we do on Sunday, the people that join that, they're usually the same people. And I know they're getting better because I know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm seeing if there's any questions in the chat. I need my glasses to actually see.
Yeah, we have like 20 minutes left, and I figure we use the rest of this time, like Beth suggested, you guys ask your questions. If you want to pick a topic, we can chat about it.
Yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, ask in the chat. I'm going to look here. They're saying gold value, so that's good. Yeah, again, it's not about about how much money you make. Just worry about what you can afford to lose. But always use stop losses, you guys. I use, I didn't know what a stop loss was until I came here.
Well, at least you know now.
Oh God, yeah. I would never, ever get into a trade, especially with leverage. And if you're new to this, which a lot of you I see in the chat are, make sure you're 2 things. 1, TradingView, pick the exchange when you're, doing all your TA. Make sure you're on the same exchange that you're going to be trading on, and make sure you plan it out before you get in it. Like sometimes Eddie will be like, I'm jumping into AVAX trade, so I'll go there and I'll like do my trade, and then I'll compare it to his TA, and go from there. There are a couple questions. What is the best time to trade? I mean, that's a difficult question because for me, I trade spot. I look at weeklies, dailies. I swing trades, I'll hold on some for a week. Look at 8 hours, 12-hour daily, and then sometimes weeklies, and then I day trade. I'll scalp. So I go on 1-minute candles. Don't do it. Well, you can, but Eddie, you can talk on that because you're like scalper genius. Why hasn't XRP moved yet? I don't know. We have to ask George.
So I'll give you guys a little insight on the time frames. There's 2 ways to do it. If you're talking about time frames like 1 hour, 4 hour, there is no best. It's whatever works for you, whatever works for your schedule.
What works for you?
If we're talking about times of the day to trade, there are better times than others. I will say that. So you're looking for the market sessions. You're looking for New York market session, London market session, and you're looking for the Asian market session. Find out what those times are based on. I can give you the time here if you're in Eastern, but it's depending on where you are in the world, it's different. But look up those sessions. New York, Asia typically starts the session. For me, it's 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m.
They'll start the session, the new day, and then followed by London. London will actually come in. The UK will start around 3 a.m. my time. So it's about 8 hours, just about 8 hours after Asia starts. And then there's an overlap that happens. So UK will start, and then there overlap for, I think, just a little bit with Asia. Asia's closing down. Then there's a gap till New York opens. New York opens around 9:30 my time.
9:30, yeah.
And that's like right around when so there's a little bit of an overlap between us and London, and then we close. London closes, and then we stay open basically, and then there's another gap between us and Asia. So there are gaps. You want to trade the big sessions because you're going to see more volatility. You're going to see more trade opportunities, and you're going to less likely to get scammed out of your positions on the scam wicks for low volatility. So I hope that answers.
Yeah, no, that does. And remember, another point that I want to make is the higher your time frame, the more likelihood, not always, but the trade will work into your favor. So for me, like the first thing I do if I want to take a trade, it doesn't matter what time frame I'm taking it on, I will go look at all the time frames. Like when I'm setting my TPs, like if I'm scalping and I'm on an hour and I'm setting 3 TP levels, I may take 1 TP level based on a 15-minute long. If I'm going long, and I see there's, I have Lux Algo, so I use order blocks. It's a great tool for you guys that are new. You can go to Discord. Banter gives great discounts for joining Lux Algo, but don't worry about that right now if you don't. There are some free indicators, but be wise about it. Take your profits, because there was so long, like Eddie said, I'd be, oh man, if AVAX is going at 28, I'm gonna sit right all the way up to the top. I'm taking it $28, and then sure enough, it reverses at $27.98. So we have all been there. And market sessions indicator on TradingView.
Yeah, there is a market sessions indicator. You can find it on TradingView.
Yeah.
But if you don't, what I do is I actually go into my phone, and you'll have world clock on your phone.
Yeah.
If you use an iPhone or if you use an Android, there's typically like a world clock. I'll actually set the times for, basically I'll put Hong Kong in there, and I'll throw in UK, like London time, just to know general times of when they're waking up. Their markets usually open 8, 9 in the morning for them. So I'll just check and see what market's in session right now. It's my easy way, but even easier is to set up that and have it on your TradingView. But
yeah, we've done, because when we're on Sundays, like Asia is usually just starting, right? So you'll see sometimes like it'll start to go down. They'll try and wick out all the longs, and then like halfway or an hour and 45 minutes into our session, like boom, go, because they're trying, the liquidity gaps. But you'll find that too. So if you guys join us on Sunday, we may or may not take trades live with you. And you're more than welcome to take them. Not saying you have to, but I find that I'm on 8 p.m. every day. I'm on if I can be.
Yeah.
But I'm a Degen. Like I think I did 18 hours yesterday and worked the full day. Yeah, it's pretty funny. GALA just made a move, anti-static.
Somebody asked what coins we're trading.
Yeah, what coins are we trading? You can go first.
Yeah, I'm in XRP. I'll show you why I'm in XRP. Let me share it real quick, and then Beth can talk about hers. But I like. Sure. Someone said XRP wasn't doing well. I think it's actually doing pretty good right now.
Yeah, they wanted to know when it was going to start running. I'm like, could be right now.
All right, so try to ignore everything. I'm just going to bring up the screen, but essentially,
no worries. Take your time. Take your time. I'm looking. Have you changed my sleeping schedule? Nah, man. Nah. Which bands are you on Sunday? So on Sundays, if you go into the school, Amir, all you have to do is go look at the events and click on the events that you're interested in. And then you just register for the Zoom link, and then we're there at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then don't you do one at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fridays? Do you normally? Or no, Eddie? What's your time on Friday?
What's up?
What's your time on Friday?
It's typically 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Eastern. How do I know which coins to trade to scalp? I'll answer that while Eddie's pulling this up. Again, there's how many coins? 9,000. So what I do for scalping is I will go to Banter Bubbles usually first thing. Swear to God, not because we're on a Banter marathon. I'll see what I'll go to the daily, the 8 hour, 12 hour, weekly, and I'll see what's moving. And that I gravitate towards those, but I tend to only scalp coins that I've been scalping, which is probably a bad habit. I've started to get into some new ones, but trade what you know. Trade what you watch, trade what you have had a history of success with. If you're brand new, don't pick 100 coins, because you can't. You're going to go crazy. You don't get into 50 trades. No.
Right, so,
just pick ones you like.
So here's the XRP trade.
Perfect.
So essentially, XRP was banging its head against.
I don't think we can see it for some reason.
Is it not sharing? Let me try sharing again.
I don't know how to share on here. Oh, wait. Oh, present. No, we are presenting.
Yeah, I was just sharing it a second ago. Let me see. Let me know if it's coming up.
Yep, it's coming. It's right there.
All right. So essentially, XRP has been banging against the 50-day MA right here. You could see. I kind of use the trend line to kind of represent it a little bit, but essentially it's banging its head there. Or it was using that as support, and it was banging its head up against the 62 cents area. It's major resistance for it. If you look back on XRP, you could see how there was horizontal support and resistance here. So you could see the volume here that's causing us to bang our heads. And if you go back into the daily, I think this level, there's more confluence with this level along this area. So yeah, you could see right here, like down here, all this volume right here. This is what price is trying to get through. So price eventually did break above. We had on, I'm going to show you on the 4 hour real quick. So we had one touched here, kind of broke through, deviated, came back in, right? We came back up, came back in. And then when we had this last one, when I started to see price start to wedge, I went on a lower time frame. You can actually see what price does. So it breaks out, creates a newer high, like a new higher high than this right here. And then it comes down and basically wicks down. And I pretty much entered on this little bounce here. And just holding it now. I wanted to basically get that SR flip, and I'm just going to hold it for the time being. I already TP'd up here at the 65 cents area. And I'm just holding up to 70 cents and see if we get there. I know there's a low volume moving up once we broke through. So it's going to move up pretty quickly, I believe. As you can see, we're kind of making our way up. But yeah, that's what I'm trading right now. XRP is a good one. It's been getting crushed a lot. It's had its heyday a few times, but for the most part, I think it's due for a pump.
Could be. I'm seeing if there's any more questions. Let's see. I'm not in any trades right now just because I was getting ready for this. I have some limits that are set, but I'm very, very cautious when I have other things to do, and this is my priority today. I'm just gonna go look real quick at my big time chart because I do have I have Lux Algo. I'm gonna if I share this, turn it all off because it's just way too confusing. Give me a minute if you guys want to see this. So what I will recommend while I'm looking at this is you guys, some of the traders, like obviously Ran and Sheldon, go take a watch at their shows because some of the new gaming and Hustle's new channel too, some of these new tokens that I've begun to pick up on spot. Now I'm not just saying go there and buy them right this very second. You got to buy them on pullbacks, and I do that on daily time frames. So I'm going to see if I can share this. Hold on. I just have to get rid of all this Lux Algo because it's going to confuse you guys, and I don't want that.
You can get trailing stop losses. I'm reading that question in one of the
go ahead.
Grateful Soul. So in the US, you can use MEXC. MEXC is not like banned for US. You can use MEXC. You can use a few different exchanges. Most of them do have trailing stop losses. Coinbase, I believe, has it. I mean, it's in every one. You won't probably be able to use it on a spot. You need to make sure you're in futures. So futures or perpetuals, like some type of contract, that's where you're going to be doing. They'll have the trailing stop loss. When you're trading on spot, like actual spot, it doesn't have as many features. So they may or may not have it on that, but most futures accounts or exchanges do.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to I hit present to share this. Is that what I do? And then share the screen. Here we go. Share screen.
Yep.
Okay. Share screen. Tell me if you guys can see
might be a little bit of delay.
My big time chart.
Just give it a second.
Can you see that?
Yep, it's loading. There you go.
Okay, so for me, I saw this. They started talking about big time. Now I got lucky. I got in right down here, but I only got in for like $20. So everyone's FOMOing. Excuse my language. So what do you do if you want to figure out how to get in, right? Well, what is the market doing to you guys? If you're in there watching this right now, do you think this is going up or down right now? What would you say? Type in the chat. Is this going up or down? And this is a daily chart because when I buy from my spot, I'm only going to buy on pullbacks. I don't care how much Rand says it's going to go up to $1 billion. I miss out. Anyway, you always draw your fib going down. If the market's going down, you draw the fib. So I draw it from the top to the bottom, drag it here. So when I think about buying more in the 618, well, not now because it's gone below it. So I've missed that opportunity. I'm not going to FOMO in. This is the oscillator matrix. We didn't talk about that, but this is another Lux Algo indicator that we can discuss if we have time. But right now I have a limit order, the 382. So right around there. So if this comes back in my spot bag, I'm going to buy it. Now, when it comes back up to here, if I buy it at the 382 or the 236, I actually have one set of the 236 also. I could buy it twice. I'm not going to I'm not going to buy something higher than my average cost, and I hope that makes sense to you. To dollar cost average when you are on spot. But look coming down on a daily. Let's look at a 12-hour. Ooh, see now 12 hour, it's at the bottom, still coming down, but it could flip. I don't care. I'm not going to FOMO. 8 hours, flat bottom. Most likely this is going to go up. But I am diligent with this process, hitting the 618, but that's obviously a 618 on the daily. So you really have to look at all time frames. This has been at the bottom now for, look at days, days.
And for anybody trying to track it, all you really need to do is just pop a trend in there.
Yeah.
Pull your fib levels, pop a trend in from the top and track that downtrend. And you start to see confluence where you're approaching a fib level, a major fib level, like whether it's your 618 or your 382 or whatever one it is, and you start to see we're approaching the trend, you're getting close to a trend break, and RSIs are lining up for you towards the bottom, maybe curving up. You look for those confluences. That should be giving you indication like maybe it's time to start looking for a position.
Exactly. And I can explain for those that don't know what this is similar to your stochastic RSI. This is the oscillator matrix. So what does that little triangle up here mean? That means most people have gone short, right? So you can see this is at the top. It was very at the top, almost the top on a daily. So right now it's at about 70.9%. The likelihood of this coming down on a daily basis is pretty high. Now that doesn't mean it's going to. So what these dots mean, take profit areas too. For example, like this is going up here. Someone took profit here on the way up, and then it reversed. So I would definitely wait for this. But again, Lux Algo is a whole nother ball game. You can use regular stochastic RSI. If you look, oops, sorry. This thing is so temperamental. I have a new mouse, and it's like this redonkulous. They're very similar. The stock RSI and this indicator, the oscillator matrix. It's probably around. Sometimes the RSI is a little bit lower, but I can stop sharing now. But hopefully that was helpful, because when this comes down to the 382, I have a limit order to buy. And then if it doesn't come down there, within 2 weeks to a month, I will look for something else to actually get into. But for right now, I'm going to keep that open because I really want more of that token. And I do that for I have about 10 spot buys, and it's not for a significant amount, but it's, it adds up, and, my spot bag is just doing pretty well. And then you also have to keep different, I have a hold, and then I have spot that I'm going to buy and sell, and buy and sell, and then so much, we don't want to overwhelm you guys. Hey, but Beth, I ran a Solana to ETH chart yesterday. I was like, dang it, man, I should have put some of my ETH in a Solana.
hey, Beth, we got a couple questions when we get to before we have to run out of time. We got like 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
So just gonna run down them real quick. Peter, we buy the rumor, sell the fact for ETF announcement in January. We're expecting. That's up to you, man. I can't really tell you whether you want to buy the rumor. I mean, clearly everybody's buying the rumor right now, so you can decide what you want to do at the time. It may go up, it may come down, but none of us have a crystal ball. Pull back to 30K, 25K. I think 30K is a little bit more reasonable than 25. Will we get back down to 30? Possibly. It's not out of the woods. Can we leverage, and how to buy? Okay, so that's something you would probably want to come to one of our AMA sessions and ask that.
Yeah, so come Sunday.
Yeah, we'll have a little bit more in depth. You could talk to a mentor if you want. Come to like when I'm on Fridays 1 p.m. Eastern or Sundays 8 p.m. Eastern. And I saw another question from Moleman. It's in there. Okay, do you TP your three TP areas earlier? You mentioned about taking your money out of the trade at a TP level. What would make you go on from TP1 to TP2? So here's the thing. Once I take TP1 out, I usually move my stop loss to break even. So I'm no longer at risk. So I just let the trade run at that point. I've already taken profits and I let it run. The only way I'm getting out of that trade is if my stop loss is hit or my next TP's hit. And I guess, I mean, you could ideally, like, let's say things just chop around sideways and you get bored. You're like, I'm not holding it in this trade any longer. You realize it's not worth your time. And then maybe I'll close the trade early and just take the rest of the profits. But usually I like to let my trades run because I want my TA to play out. That's how you have consistency. Don't throw curveballs in there. And any other questions?
Pirate J says he missed big time. Just let it come down. Let it come down. It will come down. What goes up comes down. Unfortunately, that's why, like, at one time I was afraid to short, but now I'm not afraid to short anymore.
And Jack, do you buy on limit only, or you also use market price? Okay, so I will buy on market price when I'm scalping, typically because I'm scalping on a 5 or 12, 15-minute chart. I don't have always the best time. Usually when things break, or things bounce, they move pretty quickly. So market buy is usually the easiest. Exiting, I will limit. I'll set my stop loss and my TPs and everything like that right after I market in. So I usually limit out. And there's another part to use leverage and set. Yes, I do use leverage, and I do like to put my TP SL like on the spot. Usually when I'm going to market in, what I'll do is I'll set up the trade in the right hand side of the exchange, set up the TP and stop loss ahead of time, because usually I know if you do your planning correctly, you should know your TP and your stop losses. I set that up right away, and then I wait to market in. And
oh yeah, one thing you forgot to tell them, this is very, very important. There's a position size calculator that I use for every trade now. It's cryptowinrate.com. cryptowinrate.com. You should possibly, or you should, if you don't have another way, I use this for every trade. So I'll show it on another session of ours. But that has saved me so much, because I have a limit of how much risk I'm going to take per trade. I have a limit with my stop losses unless there's certain situations. But cryptowinrate.com is a very valuable tool. And Kyle taught me that in Whale School. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, guys, for sure.
Anything else you guys want us to answer before we turn it over? Let's see.
We're just waiting on Mams and George to get on.
No worries. When do we add leverage into a trade, and when do we start pulling out our margin? Confusing, because we shouldn't be adding more as the trade possesses in our favor. And I think I know what you mean, FJ, because you think it's going to average up your average cost. But you have to remember, when you're leveraging into trades, I don't up my leverage unless a trade is going, unless I've added to my trade, and I mean dollar-wise, I know it's going to up my average position cost. But if I'm doing that, I'm upping my stop loss so that I know I'm not losing. So I hope that answers your question. When you start pulling out your market, getting out of a trade, I mean, that's really up to you. I don't know what your risk tolerance is, but you'll get better as you do it. Eddie, if you have any more insight on that, I mean, it's pretty much, have I got out of a trade? Of course. If I set a stop loss that was 5% and this thing's at 4, and it's the 8 hour, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and they're all going down, get out. I'm not perfect, but that, I will say, knock on wood, that's only happened to me twice in the last month. Yeah. No, I didn't get out in time. I've gotten stopped, but I'm okay with that. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Yay, everyone's joining us.
Well, I guess I'm going to jump now since you guys have your thing going.
Great job. Thank you. I know at some point I'm going to have to take my dog out, but for now I'm okay. She's sleeping.
Yeah. Hey, everybody.
Hello,
Hi.
hello, hello.
Mams, can we hear you?
Is that Mams and Brian? I don't think this is the first time I've seen you guys on cam.
I know. Yes.
What's up, guys?
I need my glasses now.
Of course, I'm over here trading, right? And thank you, Eddie, for the heads up. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm right here. I've been listening all along. You guys did such a great presentation. What's that?
Heads up on what?
We were just waiting for us to join to.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Sorry. Enjoy your thing.
Right.
I'll be watching from the TV.
Yeah, great presentation.
Yay.
Later, guys.
Mems, can you? I think can we hear you? Testing. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're not. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, great. Hello.
Hi.
Brian.
We've been going through this for a long time, so I'm answering one question on the stream, and I will be right back. Do you want to pull up our presentation, or do you want me to? Only one.
Yep, I'm bringing it up.
Yay!
This is the DYOR presentation.
No, this is
Do I have the wrong?
This is our topic on like onboarding. I thought, or no, yeah, onboarding.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking about what fiat,
Yep.
exchanges. I can tell you I had a nightmare at crypto.com yesterday, but I sorted it out. Yeah.
I've been confused. The confused is the in regards to what goes where. I've been working on these different presentations, trying to trade. You know how
Yeah, I
it
can't
goes.
trade while I'm doing this. I gotta focus. I have limits set. While we're waiting for the presentation to be pulled up, in the chat, type what exchange you're using. What exchange are you guys trading on, especially if you're in the United States? I'm interested to see. And then we will get started. Everyone's quiet. Quiet, quiet, quiet. That's okay. Mexi, yep. See, I use Mexi. Yep. I use Mexi. I like Mexi. Their fees are not as high as some of the other ones. Crypto.com is just shish. Ugh. Mexi. Good. Mexi. PingX, I use that too. BitGet, good. Mexi, Fimex. I've never used Fimex. I don't know if I can use them here. Mexi, Bybit, Mexi for scalping. Nice, Mexi. Okay, cool. So you guys do know some of them. All of them. Yeah, all of them. Oh my goodness. Well, our goal here today is to kind of give you guys a little guidance, because I know it's been a little rough, especially in the United States and even UK. All these new rules, exchanges are going to be exchanges. Like I can only move $100 a day. Not that I'm going to move 100 every day, but anyway. BitGet, KuCoin, yeah. Mexi. Yeah, you guys are great. All of them. I'm using all of these too. I don't like Binance. I will say if you're on Binance US, you may want to pull your money out. Just FYI, do what you want. Not that they're going out of business, but there's a lot of issues there. If you're at Binance US, you may want to move that to another exchange. And we're going to go over how to do that. Is that today? Is that right now? Oh no, that might be later. Oh, no, we'll get it done at the end of this. Mams, do you want to go ahead and kick it off for us?
Okay. Yep.
Just a second.
Right.
I just lost my screen.
No worries.
I'm not sure you can actually see my screen. Just a second.
Can you see your screen?
Yeah, I can see my
Right.
screen. Sorry. So, hi everybody. My name's George. I'm with.
Yeah, we see it.
I'm
Okay.
a moderator with Crypto School. I have the slides up, so sorry about that, Mams.
It's okay.
Can you see it, Mams?
Yep.
Perfect. Now we see your Google. FYI.
I apologize. I'm gonna stop.
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
I'm gonna stop.
It's so funny because like you're like me. All your main, it's all crypto.
Yes.
There we go.
Crypto.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mams, did you share?
I think so.
Okay,
Well,
perfect. Awesome. Since you're talking right now.
I'm talking. Okay. Right. So I'm Nance. I'm from France. I am a moderator from school. I started as a student, cohort 1. I think it was October or November 2022. So quite a long time. As everybody else, I had ups and downs, and the bear market was but I've learned a lot, and I chose to be a moderator to share what I've learned with you, so that you can avoid making the mistakes that I've done. So today, George, Beth, and I are going to focus on onboarding and cashing out of crypto for all the new students that struggle with moving their money around and from one exchange to the other, and from an exchange to their wallets, and inversely. So I hope this will help you, and we'll try and answer your questions by the end of the presentation, or anytime you want to, really. It depends on what you want to know will be happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Hey, ma'am, can you speak up a little bit? They're just saying they're having a difficult time hearing you. I can hear you, but I think they're having a difficult time hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay.
good. Otherwise, you're doing great.
I'll try, but I don't have a microphone, so maybe.
No, you're good.
Well,
I can. That's better. Whatever you just did is a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Good. Right. So, should we start? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. So today we're going to focus on crypto on-ramps and off-ramps, trying to define what they are, the types of on-ramps and off-ramps that are currently available for you to use, and their availability in your local area. Then we'll focus on KYC or non-KYC, because you know that most exchanges now require KYC, and for some of you it's a problem. So we'll try and explain what it is exactly, how your data is handled by the exchanges, and the regulation and taxation that goes with the types of ID verification. Then,
hey, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think you're locking up a little bit. You're freezing up a little bit.
Oh,
we're getting,
do you want us to go over it? We can if you want. George, if you want to read this part really quick, just, I mean, not the, ma'am, it's not your fault. It's just your microphone. I think it might be your internet connection.
What I'm thinking is maybe try turning off your video first. Try turning off your video. Let's see if that improves the sound. And then if that doesn't work, then we can. Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
At the very bottom, you'll see next to settings, it says stop cam. Just hit that, and then you, that way, all you're doing is go down, 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 down. And that way, I think it's going to give you more bandwidth.
Okay, stop cam.
Yay! Much better. Yep.
I'm really sorry, but obviously my connection is.
No, don't be sorry. You're fine.
I don't know why. I was talking about the third part of the presentation, which is choosing your on-ramp and off-ramps and the factors you should be mindful of, because obviously there's a lot of on-ramps and off-ramps that you can choose from, but the quality of the service and the security related to the funds may vary. So we have to be very careful about this. And lastly, we'll talk about investing in crypto and cashing out, explaining in more details how you can use your funds and how you can cash out and all this. So we'll start with Satoshi's vision, because when he created Bitcoin, he had a specific vision of the digital currency, and obviously what he wanted to focus on mainly was decentralization. Because it's a concept that is at the core of Satoshi's vision for Bitcoin. And he envisioned a world where individuals can transact with one another without the need for a trusted intermediary, such as a bank or a government. And by eliminating intermediaries, Satoshi believed that individuals could regain control over their own financial affairs, free from the constraints of centralized institutions and these sort of things. So decentralization is achieved through the use of a distributed ledger or blockchain, which allows for the creation of a trusted network where participants are equal. And there's so digital cash is what you actually call the currencies that you're. Oh, sorry. Oops. The cryptocurrencies that you're here to buy and trade and make money out of, actually. So of course they're used for online transaction, and what they are, what they are. Sorry, what they are based on is the concept of anonymity. Satoshi's believed that it was important that people could remain anonymous in the digital age. So transactions are pseudonymous, meaning that users don't have the necessity to reveal their true identities when transacting with one another. And this anonymity has been a double-edged sword, as it's allowed, unfortunately, for the creation of a truly open and decentralized world and network, but also facilitating use of Bitcoin for illicit activities such as money laundering and trafficking. And that is exactly these sort of things. Yes, am I saying? Yeah.
We're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. Some people have mentioned in the chat that they're just getting that it's coming through.
Yeah, I'm making sure it's not me. I'm gonna check my internet really quick, my router. Hold on.
Okay. So let me continue with this part. I know you have another part later on in the presentation. I'm not having any problems hearing, but you know, I have this great headset, so I think that. Oh,
I promise you, the presentation is amazing. She built an amazing presentation. And it's just her sound. So.
Yes. Well, ma'am.
Okay. So don't worry. Just take over.
Yeah, we're gonna. We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
We had a backup plan, Mams and I, for this. So, and as Beth brought up, Mams is the one that brought together this amazing deck. And as somebody who loves presentations, startups.
Yeah, she's a teacher. She was a teacher. She's amazing. This presentation, like, yeah, I helped her build it too. And I was like, oh my God, you built this? Yeah. Fantastic.
So, you know, Satoshi really had 7 goals that MAMS has gone over: decentralization, digital cash, anonymity, security and transparency, inflation resistance, financial inclusion, and trust in code. And the big problem that Satoshi was solving when trying to create Bitcoin was the double spend issue, right? And we think about this sort of like Ticketmaster and buying tickets on Craigslist. Like you go and buy it on, you know, a secondhand site, you know, an online marketplace, and you buy tickets. Will you show up and actually be able to use the tickets, or were the tickets sold multiple times? And that's the issue with digital cash or digital, you know, any form of doing digital transactions. In the past, we needed an intermediary in order to sit between us to say, I trust this person and I trust this person. But if you and I are transacting peer-to-peer, as Mams was pointing out, in a decentralized fashion, we need to make sure the money is not being spent twice because somebody's going to get screwed. That, in addition to also enabling financial inclusion for all people, right? It's something that can be used by everybody. Banks and institutions that deal in managing money aren't driven by financial reasonings to be in specific communities and to stay out of other communities that also need banking services. So Satoshi's vision really serves the global community in a variety of different ways, as is pointed out here. Next slide, please.
Oh, that's right. She is the slides presenting, right?
Yes.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it's supposed to be me, but maybe
it's okay. You can change the slides for us. That'd be great. Yay!
So on-ramps and I already know what she needs for Christmas. I already figured it
out. I know, right? Me too. Yeah. We'll talk later. We'll talk later.
We're on it. We're on it. So on-ramps and off-ramps. And I was putting this in the chat earlier, trying to help, but I don't know. This was the most difficult part for me for getting into crypto. I knew the exchanges that my friends were trading crypto on. They talked about it all the time. Oh yeah, I placed an order on XYZ, but I couldn't just go there and put money on. And so then trying to get on and KYC, and when I joined, you would sign up for an exchange, and then they'd say, thank you so much for signing up. We are actually have a backlog right now. We should be back in touch with you in about a month. All right, that was the 2017, 2018 bull run. And KYC was all the rage, but I didn't, where do I get this? And I was jumping around. I went to so many obscure exchanges trying to get this cryptocurrency. And it was largely because I didn't understand on-ramps and off-ramps. Right. It really felt like a casino where I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this money in here and you're going to give me that so I can buy that. And, you know, crypto on-ramps and on-ramps are how we get money from the government issued, government, backed, big industry backed money into the digital world. And on-ramps and off-ramps have become so important because the government wants to know where the money's flowing, right? So they enable you to come on and flow off. And that's part of the reason why we incorporated KYC and AML into this presentation, was so that you could understand that when you come to a site that asks for KYC. So on-ramps are ways that you get money into crypto, and off-ramps are ways that you get money out of crypto. And I have a Revolut card because I used to sign up for everything crypto, but I believe you can put cash into Revolut and then actually put it into crypto from there. So there's many.
You can, not in the US though. Just FYI, you can, but just not in the US.
Okay.
I've tried.
Thank you. So there's many on-ramps and off-ramps, and we're going to go into talking about the ones that we've found work best for crypto banter students, crypto school students. All right, next slide.
Go back.
All right. So different types of on-ramps, and I started to lead into this, but you have centralized exchanges, right? And centralized means that there is somebody that we've endowed with the power to oversee it and take control of it and build the rules and tell us what to do. Peer-to-peer is very much like Craigslist, if you want to think about it that way. You put an ad in the newspaper or on a digital newspaper and say, I want this, and somebody says, I've got that, I'm willing to pay. You exchange for the goods, in this case, cryptocurrency. There's payment gateways. These are, Changely is one that I used to use, but ways in which they just swap it, right? Like they're sitting in the center, and historically a lot of them didn't have KYC. I'm old school crypto, so I'm not really trying to, when I get money into the exchanges these days, I'm using it through a centralized exchange. That's the easiest, fastest, works best with my country. I pay a little bit more in fees for that first transaction, but the money goes through. These other ways, my experience has been sitting there waiting, watching the blockchain. Did it go through? Did it? Okay. Oh, okay, there's the transaction. Can I get it out? Can I get it out? And then crypto brokers. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The exchanges that are like, oh, I'm sorry, that wallet isn't working right now. But that's outside of this conversation. And then you've got crypto brokers as well. I don't know much about crypto brokers, but the next presentation we do about this, Mams can talk more about her research into that area. Why don't we move on to the next slide? All right. So we here at Crypto School, I think you've heard us sing the accolades about how much Crypto School has helped all of us. And it was because of the pains that we've experienced in crypto, and also the pains that we see our students go through, that we put this presentation together, because all over the world, on-ramps and off-ramps are different. Depending on where you are, the way in which you get fiat currency, which is government issued currency, into crypto is going to be different. And the tools that the tools that are most appropriate to you are going to be based on the financial instruments that you have for getting your money into the exchanges. All right. I don't think there's actually, I think in Japan there are banks that facilitate the purchase of cryptocurrency, but we don't have that in the United States. So on this slide, we've put together all of the available exchanges by the different regions, ones that are good on-ramps for getting, your money into the cryptocurrency market. And from the on-ramp, like a lot of on-ramps and off-ramps only have a selected, a small collection of assets that they hold. That's okay. Don't allow that to stress you out. All you need to do is get into USDT, right? And then you can send that through the Tron network for on the exchange I work on, it's like, I think one USDT. And so very cheap to send it, and then you'll go to another exchange. And those are the exchanges that when we're talking, or when you hear Rand, when we're talking, but when you hear Rand and Sheldon and Kyle talking about, making these trades, those are the types of exchanges where you're going to actually do more of the transacting. On the exchange that I use, which is actually Coinbase, it doesn't have the tools I need to actually do any of this
You can't
analysis.
use Tron. Like, I can't use Tron Network on Coinbase. All right.
When I first joined Coinbase, it was enter a number plus press buy, period, right? Like no stop
Yeah.
losses, no nothing. So these on ramps and off ramps don't have to have extensive capability. They need to enable you to get money into crypto. Otherwise, there's no way for you to participate in the market. We can't underline that enough. And there are two types of exchanges. The big exchanges that we all talk about, where you can do all this super magical stuff, and then often on ramps and off ramps. And don't want to belabor that. Let me know if we have any questions about that, Beth. But that was
I'm
what I
looking
got.
right now. They wish there was an in-person training so you can come in person from us. The slide exchange would be great to put in Discord and help answer a lot of questions. So yeah, we'll figure out how to get these slides to you guys somehow.
Yeah.
This will be recorded, but yeah, we'll figure out how to get some slides, because at the end, I mean, I've got some really good screenshots too, and some, yeah, we'll get that to you guys. But I appreciate it. Ma'ams did a great job. So yes.
So I think I've been going a little bit long, but the last thing I want to also remind people of is you'll see Bitcoin ATMs or cryptocurrency ATMs also in different communities. That can be an anonymous way of buying into the crypto market. You're just going to pay exorbitant.
Oh my God, big, don't do it. I'm telling you right now, don't do it.
It's not worth it.
Like, Bitcoin, so let me give you an example on that. Bitcoin was the ATM here I went to yesterday. Bitcoin got 43, 44. Guess how much they wanted? 53,000. I looked at the guy, I'm like, do you know about Bitcoin? He goes, $53,000. I said, no, sir, it's not $53,000. So be careful with those.
Yes. The fees are really, really high, but that's the only way, they need their own legal team for the next topics that we'll be talking about. It'll start to make more sense. Let's go to the next slide. Yes. I'm going to go through KYC and AML pretty quickly. I think that's, other on-ramps and off-ramps by different regions. Before sending any funds, oh my goodness. Thank you, ma'ams, for putting this into the slide. Please make sure the following is true, that exchange is actually valid for your area. I'm sure there's exchanges that will allow you to deposit money before they tell you that they need to KYC and, we don't serve your region. So always make sure that it's available for your region. Double check the transaction fees. People are out there to, take, it's Wild West. So people will take money for, you want a pick? Here you go. Here's a pick. Right? Transaction speeds, payment methods, that the wallet works, right? That you're going to be taking your money out, supported fiat, supported cryptocurrencies, user experience, security, reputation, and customer support. Those who have heard me before know that one of my favorites is all the way at the bottom, security. And this also relates to making sure that you're using unique passwords on all the different sites you're using, because if you're using the same one password on one site, Changely, and you go to 3 other sites and use the same password and email, you just gave somebody access if you don't have two-factor authentication. Next slide, please. All right, KYC or not KYC. So an anonymity or pseudo anonymity is one of the things that Satoshi was hoping that we would be granted through using Bitcoin. But anti-money laundering and it was actually, they really got their teeth into us after, the Twin Tower episode in the United States, which was a horrible event. But because of that, it became like, we want the banks to make sure that nothing goes to anybody that might be doing really bad things. TERREORS. Yes, those bad people. I don't want to say it and impact this, but so it's really to prevent the funding of bad actors. So know your customer is the first leg in making sure that bad actors aren't being funded through money laundering, and that money laundering isn't occurring. So KYC is actually know your customer. It's something that many businesses that deal with financial transactions are required to do if transactions are over an amount like $500. So when it comes to crypto, government wants to know everything. They want to shut it down. So it's like you have to KYC. And KYC in crypto is actually done by taking a picture of your ID and a picture of yourself, sometimes with a piece of paper, showing like all these different points of your face plus your hand and the reason for that is they need to ensure that it's you that's doing it, not somebody that's broken into your house and all of a sudden has your ID and your phone, right? So KYC makes sure that they aren't letting people take money, that they're dealing with you, but it also ensures that when the government comes knocking at their door, they can report where all the money came from. Because when it comes to anti-money laundering, next slide, please, anti-money laundering, AML rules are just becoming more and more restrictive. Leaders around the world want to say that, crypto, that's how criminals are doing things. But I'm sorry, the United States dollar has been the easiest way for the eternity, right? Since it really gained stead as the reserve currency. So that being said, it's a lie, but because it's digital, it's trackable, and they want to tie an identity to every transaction. And that's part of the reason why we're saying make sure that you're prioritizing security, because as we want to participate in this area, and this need to identify who we are. Hacks happen even for those big companies, and your information could be susceptible. So make sure you're following good security, good passwords, and go through and do the KYC. It's their way of making sure that we can actually transact by proving that they aren't allowing money laundering people. Next one. All right, I think I'm handing it off here. So, Beth, this is you, please.
Oh no, I can keep going. This is hers, but this doesn't matter. It really matter. So, obviously, for people that don't think the government's watching you, I don't care where you live, they are. So that's why a crypto exchange versus, obviously we went over this, and this is an easy way to remember. Like hot, think it's stolen. If it's hot, it could get stolen. These exchanges are requiring your personal information. We just talked about this. They're gonna validate your identity. You have to show a passport or a driver's license. Sometimes they'll even make you send in utility bills. I've had to send one for Coinbase because I got hacked. They have to make sure you're you. We kind of already, this is kind of like duplicating it. But what they're going to do is they're going to look at your risk profile. They're going to look at you more than you even know. Sometimes you may know within seconds. Sometimes they're going to say, we'll get back to you. But if you have a felony or they know. They know. So if everything is in order, you should be able to trade that day. Now, remember, the difference is an exchange. If you put money, you can go into the next slide. If you put money on, for example, Maxi or Coinbase, you can't take it out until it's cleared. You may be able to trade it, but you can't get it out or move it until that money is cleared from your bank. That's why we hate the banks in the United States. Just kidding. Love you, banks. Next slide, please. So, what are they collecting from you? I mean, they say just this information. I think they're getting everything. They can go back and see what you've traded, what other exchanges you're on, where do you work, what's your address, how much money you make. They're going to look back and see what they could see where you've traded before, what blockchains you may be on. And, I used to think, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want people knowing, but there's nothing else that you can do. They can track IP addresses. That's why for those that are on MEXC, when I joined it, it said, I went to go KYC and it said, you cannot use it in your country. So I can't put money on there. I don't want money on there. I mean, fiat. You can move things in and out. And we're going to discuss how to do that soon. This is pretty much going over the same thing. So great information. We can keep going on.
So this was actually, I was so nervous, just like rush. Oh my goodness. But a lot of people get scared because, for one thing, we say, don't put any of this information online. This is, your standard security protocol should
Yeah.
be underway when you're doing this. Scammers are out there, so make sure you're dealing with the exchange. Always, don't click links and emails, and when they say we need your documents, right? You need to send these
So
documents.
read your user agreements with them, because one quick thing, read your user agreements, because with Voyager, when I worked at Voyager, the first agreement I signed, it said, I own my crypto. I do. I never owned my crypto. They did. If you put it on an exchange, they own it. It's theirs now. It's theirs. Period. End. If they crash, there's nothing you can do. I'm not trying to deter you at all. But just make sure you read, read everything you possibly can, because they're following you, and they're gonna. Hopefully, nobody's criminal here. I know I'm not. But it's very, very important to look at everything you sign before you sign it, because you want to get in. And Mexi, good. Bing, all the ones that Banter works with, the second they weren't, we will let you know. I will let you know. Trust me, I'll be screaming it from the top of my lungs. But yeah, I mean, this again, we've kind of gone over how they handle the data, but again, it's so important to just keep changing your passwords, never use the same thing. But we can keep going on.
Yeah, thank you.
Next one.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we can keep going on. I'm making sure there's no questions. Hey Beth, would you lower your mic? Oh yeah, sorry, I made it louder so I could hear moms here. That's better. Is that better? Better? Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of the most important slides you will ever see. So I'm in the United States. I happen to have a phenomenal cryptocurrency tax accountant. If you don't think they're gonna go back 3 to 4 years, you're wrong. My best friend is the head of cybersecurity for the United States of America. So he's like, Beth, I hope you pay your taxes. So it's different per country. You guys can see on the slide, difference all over the world. But I highly, highly recommend, wherever you are, find somebody that is good. Because if you are buying crypto, if you are selling crypto, I don't care where you live, they're watching you. Now, other countries, not so much. United States, yes, there is a software. I can tell you this. I don't know what the name of it is. Whether you're trading 0.000001 or $1 million, they're watching every trade you do. So make sure that you have a really good accountant that knows cryptocurrency laws. In the United States, there are several you may or may not be aware of. And my cryptocurrency attorney has been teaching cryptocurrency tax law. He works with athletes and celebrities. I was very blessed to get him. So, I mean, pertaining to where you live, I mean, I think it's probably a lot easier. The United States, we have it the worst. We really, really do. United Kingdom, I mean, capital gains in crypto have less than 12 months tax, between 10 and 37%. Yeah, I mean, it's put away, you guys. If you are winning, you're profitable, take money out of your exchange and put it in the bank. I have a tax account. I'm going to pay this. Just, do it. You don't want to get in trouble with the IRS. You really don't.
One of the key things with this, and Beth, you covered all that perfectly. One of the key things with this, especially for Americans, is that we have FUBAR, foreign bank account, financial accounts, foreign accounts reporting in the United States. So if you transact anything over $10,000 for in a foreign place, you're supposed to report it, and it's like an automatic fine. So you need to understand the different rules. It's pretty easy to understand. Don't let anybody think I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not trying to provide financial advice in any way here, but once you understand the different parameters that you're playing with, it's totally worth it. And as Beth was talking about, make sure that you're accounting for tax when you collect your earnings. And I think it's something Analytica. They don't have a website. They're unknown. The only people that know about them are governments and people that want tracking. And all they do is do on-chain analytics of all transactions and consolidate it and create the linking of it. So it's pseudo-anonymous. If you were listening to our presentation earlier, you have a layer of anonymity between you and me, but when it comes to these large tools that are great for big data management and dissecting, yeah,
Yeah.
no luck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Just be
always
careful.
think about taxes and work with a professional and ask the questions so you understand it and can do better next year. All right, let's move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a God bless Bitcoin. That's all I have to say. Yeah, choosing your on-ramp and off-ramp, that can be difficult. There's obviously many different ways to do it. And keep going.
Sorry.
No, thank you. So, again, credit card, international transfers, you're going to use Swift. One thing I will tell you is if you are linking your bank account to an exchange, you have to, how are you going to ever take fiat out? You have to have at least one. Right now in the United States, I have two. I'm using Coinbase and crypto.com, but this is a big thing. This is a great slide. Transaction fees. I mean, the fees on crypto.com are just redonkulous. They're redonkulous. I can't stand it. I can go on for an hour, but I won't. The speeds are, pretty similar. I think Mexi is just boom fast there. Coinbase boom fast there. Crypto.com is a little slower, but think about it. If it's a weekend and you need money and your bank is closed and you can't find your debit card or you get hacked, what are you going to do? Crypto solves this problem. But think of things like how familiar are you with it? Can you figure out how to use it? Is it reliable to use? Is it secure? And look at what type of cryptocurrencies and fiat that they actually support, and look at their customer support and their reputation. I mean, no one's perfect, but there are better ones than others, and depending on where you live. So those are the primary factors to consider. Next slide, please. Payment methods. So we started to talk about this, right? My mic is too loud now. I'm going to make it lower. Give me one moment. Can't get this perfect ever. Hopefully that's better. Okay, so obviously debit cards, for example, with Mexi, you are on Mexi, but I can't KYC in the United States. I can't use a debit card. The Swift codes, if you're international, that if you're obviously wiring money into an exchange, you can do that. Domestic transfers, you can do they're called SEPAs, SEPAs. I've never done that, but obviously ACH. Now remember, you guys, ACH can take 3 to 5 days. I have money on Coinbase. I can't move it. Now on my bank says it's cleared. I called them. It's like, well, you have to wait 7 days. Anyway, it is a little issue, but we're working through it. We're working through it. So these are your average fees. You can go to the next slide. I think we've covered that pretty much. This is information for me because I think this is good to know. There are fees no matter what you're doing for most things in life. Using a credit card up to, is it pounds, right? Is that in pounds? I believe it is. Yeah. So
no, it's euros, but
it's in euros.
Oh, that's euro. Okay, 25 to 50. That all looks very, very logical to me. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any other choice but to,
And whether when it comes to the bank transfer fees, it's like, oh my goodness, that's so high. True, you're right. But if you were, sending money to another investment fund, right, and had to do it through wire transfer, the fee is the same. If you're going to wire money to somebody else on the other side of the globe, the fee is still the same. There are adjustments, depending on which country it's headed to and where you're sending it from, conversions and such. But yeah, the fee is the same. It's money movement, and that's what crypto helps us solve. When it comes to using a card network, avoid using your debit card. Your debit card banks, if you go and read the fine print of your debit card, you'll learn that you don't have the same protections that you have with a credit card. So when possible, use a credit card. At least it's FDIC insured in the United States, and Visa and MasterCard would have similar programs around the globe because that's the way the governments are trying to protect us from scammers online. So you don't use a debit card if you never know if there's a bad actor somewhere, right? That's just
I mean, there are some exchanges that won't even take a credit card though. I gotta be honest, Coinbase declined my credit card because they took my debit card. So what I recommend in that case, if you have to, get something like LifeLock, to protect you up to $1 million. Because she's right, but I can't use mine. I can't use a credit card on. I can't. I don't know if it's something with my bank. It could be, but yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
All right. Next slide. We're coming up to your stuff, Beth.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Moving cash in and out of crypto. So there's some videos. I don't want to watch those now because they're like 2 minutes each. We'll come back to them. You can go on to the next slide. But I do have like Coinbase up here. I have some things I can pull up if I need to show you. Take a picture of that slide right there. We'll get it to you guys somehow because those are 3 videos you guys need to see. I mean, I guess we can try playing one if you want. The best one would be the first one. If you want to click the first one and see if it runs. If not, we'll keep going. So important.
I think that might not be a good idea. And the reason I say that is because we were getting robotic voice earlier,
okay,
right?
Yeah, no, keep going. We'll make sure you guys get those links, but I did a lot of research to find out some of the links to teach you guys how to do this properly because getting in and out of crypto in the United States especially is very difficult until you know what you're doing. You can go on to the next one.
What should I do? Go back to the slides?
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
Go back to the slides. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, next one then. There you go.
Okay, so moving your crypto, cashing out your crypto. Let's just cover some basics. So if you're going to move USDT to USDT, you got to make sure you're on USDT. So obviously you're going to click on the cryptocurrency that you are working with from one exchange to the other. The exchange will show you exactly how much of the cryptocurrency is in that wallet. So now this is very important. You're going to have either sell or buy, withdraw, send, receive, send. You really have to look at that. You have to triple check, quadruple, 10 times that you are sending coin to coin. And this is even more important. Now that there's all these new networks in town, there's layer 1s, there's ERC20, which is what most people are familiar with. You are paying a little bit more fees, but if that's what you're comfortable with, use it. There's Tron, there's Arbitrum, there's so many. There's Polygon mainnet, so I can go on and on, but I don't want to confuse you. Just make sure you're moving. Like, for example, if you're moving something from Mexi to Coinbase and you're used to using the ERC20 to ERC20. Like, I move stuff on Tron all the time, but I don't want to confuse you guys. Make sure that you are using the same blockchain technology to move from one to the other. If that does not make sense to you, just let us know in the chat. My phone died. Keep going on. There are security notices. We went over that, but it's going to tell you are about to move this, blah 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 blah. Do you understand? Read it twice. Check it twice. Check it 3 times. When you're giving your recipient's wallet, meaning yours, or maybe you're sending it to your mom or somebody else, again, just please make sure the wallet address is, I mean, I write my wallet addresses down. I'm that meticulous. And I know that my Mexi USDT wallet ends in ABCDE, and I know it's going into Coinbase or coming from Coinbase wallet DEFG. Look it over 3 or 4 times before you do it. It's going to, you're going to type the amount you want. Preview. I can talk about this all day. Most of the exchanges, you're going to have to 2FA. So people get all confused. They're like, oh my God, I have to 2FA, and then I have to put this number in here, and then it's going to move, and am I doing it on the right blockchain? I mean, it took me about a little while to figure this out, but once you do, it's going to be fine. If you have any questions, oh yeah, there's something that people are talking about the videos. If you have any questions, just tag us in Discord. Don't do it by yourself if you don't know what you're doing, because once you move things, shit gone. And how you can view everything, you can look at every transaction that you have, and I have a bunch of them in pictures here, and I have it on. If we need to go on to Etherscan, we can. If you don't know how to view your blockchain transactions, I highly suggest you learn how. And that's one thing I don't think we went over in school, so maybe we'll do an AMA on that.
Yeah,
what you're going to do is you're going to log in with your wallet ID. Everybody has a wallet ID. You have to put in your password. Usually, I think OX is what they start with, most of them. But you can do all this in the blockchain. Like, if you think, oh my God, this hasn't come through yet, what do I do? And I can walk you through, if we've got time, on how to set that up, but it's very easy. Just go to etherscan.io and register for an account, and follow the instructions.
Yeah, Beth,
after your balance.
After we finish with the presentation, I think if we can go to Etherscan and just even show them that interface.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me present my screen. Let me go through this and then I will.
Yeah.
For sending and receiving, again, we kind of went through this. So, yeah, let me go ahead and present. Let me just click on the right thing, Etherscan. Hold on. I'll be right back. Because it's gonna log in. All right, hold on. Let me just go back and share my screen now.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, so much.
Yes.
As I said earlier, you know, we both mentioned it. She created this slide deck and has really been the glue that has held all of this working.
Okay,
and
tell me
running
when you
forward.
can see my screen.
Not yet. So many thanks, ma'ams. Yes,
it says I am sharing, so I'm going to give it a minute. It says I'm sharing.
Yes, you are sharing. Yeah, it's
Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So everybody, this is etherscan.io. I am CoinDiva Sniper. You build a profile, right? You can build it here. My email address, blah, 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 blah. I don't care if you guys see my email address. I have many of them. So I have not kept track of all my transactions because this is a brand new account I created just for this. I do have another Etherscan that keeps track of all my wallet addresses here. I would start by going home. You can see like all the transactions that people have made, the latest blocks that are happening, what you want to do. I mean, I've already done it just to create an account, right? You can create watch lists. You can do so much on here. You can watch tokens. It's going to give you information about your blockchain, transactions, pending transactions, withdrawals. You can watch blocks, everything you want. And this is a great time. Resources. It has charts and stats, your leaderboard. But let me see if I've done. I don't think I did any like moving on here. I didn't because I didn't want. I mean, what I own, I don't really want to tell the world what I own. But the best thing to do is just go to etherscan.io and log in. I mean, I can log out and log back in again. Do you want me to do that? Log out and log in. Here. Sign out. Okay, so sign in. I'm going to put my username, which I don't care if you guys see. You're going to see my password, though. Hold on. Hold on. I'll come right back. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 minute. Okay, let me get in. It's making sure I'm not a robot. Give me a minute. Sorry, my internet is completely freezing. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's go back and show you guys more pictures. I think it's better that way. Because it's gonna show all my information if I could go back there. I want to show you.
Can I just show something really quickly?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, because mine's for some reason
I'm just
freezing.
When Beth was talking about Etherscan, I was thinking about it from a different perspective. So I just want to point this out really quickly. With Etherscan, what you can do is you can take any address and view the details about the transaction.
Yeah, I've got that covered in here. That's perfect.
So,
you can show that. That's coming up later. Perfect.
When we think about blockchain, we think of one block being, a bunch of transactions being put in a block, one block on top of another. So you have the entire history of every fragment of Bitcoin that exists, and it's stored or recorded so you can track it here on Etherscan. So what was once one Bitcoin, when you make a transaction, then there's a record of, okay, this part went at person A, and this part went to person B, and this part is still in the wallet. So you can look for that here, and you have relationships between the current owner of the wallet and another wallet. So
yeah, those are all the transactions that I have actually made. So, every transaction you make is going to have what's called like a hash top, right? So if you ever can't find it, and I'm going to show you on here, on Coinbase has it, crypto.com has it, every time. Doesn't matter if you're moving $5 or 500, it's going to be there. If you can go back to the presentation, I would like to show them a couple more examples of the Coinbase stuff. While I've got time. And then if you guys have any questions for us, please, please, please go ahead and ask us. Can you do me a favor and just go back to the presentation really quickly? Oh my God, I'm sounding like Jackie. I miss Jackie. Hi, Jackie's in the audience.
I know, isn't that awesome?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Which one do you
I
want?
love how he says that quickly. I got that.
Yeah,
from
can you
him.
put on the onboarding?
Which one do you want?
The presentation, please.
Yeah, I just want to show them.
Yes.
I mean, I can go to Coinbase and do it manually. I can just go to Coinbase. Hold on. Let me
Just a
share.
second. Let me just
I'll share.
present. Okay.
Share screen. Share screen. Coinbase. Share. Okay, so now you guys are going to see what I'm buying. Bye. So these are actual orders that I have filled, right? If I want to see details about it, or you just double click on it and it will bring it up. See, hold on. There you go. So up here, you see this order ID. If I go see and if I don't see this in my wallet, I'm going to type this onto Etherscan, and it's going to show me where it is. Once it's hashed, it's done. Cannot be undone. So as you can see, I bought some alluvium. Yeah. So for everyone that's wondering what I'm buying, these are some of the coins. Not financial advice whatsoever, but you know, Coinbase has features like Earn, where you can go in and actually, you know, you can stake some things. I am staking some Solana, that big $18 that I've made. Woohoo! Joy. But that's really what I wanted to show you, because a lot of times people don't realize that you can actually get this information, and when they're moving crypto from one place to the other. And I was going to show you how to do that live, but in order to do that, you would see all my balances. So I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Is there anything else that you guys want me to show you on Coinbase? Fees. There you go. Let's look at the fees. Okay, so you're gonna get some idea of how much I trade, but the last 30 days, $5.28 with a volume $669.57. So I'm part of Coinbase One, which is a paid service. I pay $39.99 a month, but I do use Coinbase a lot. So, and I'm only advanced level 1. So, you know, are they taking a little bit of my money? Yes, but I can't complain because I have done very, very well in my spot trading and some of my, you know, in my future. So you can compare, you know, a lot of different, you know, coins to different currencies to ETH. You know, it's really, really helpful. I think a lot of this I never really knew was here. I am doing a lot of Solana ETH comparisons right now. But yeah, I just wanted you guys to see. And in order to, you know, this will show you pretty much, you can go trade anything you want. This is obviously limits, order books. You can see the longs, the shorts, all that stuff. So hopefully that was somewhat helpful.
Ma'am, I don't know if it's my mute. One of us has to mute, and I think it might be me, ma'am. But make sure you're on mute.
This is the video. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to, but this is where I built this presentation from, really. Like, you know, I went on to blockchain.com. Recommend you guys do some research here. It has Bitcoin 101, Ether 101, DeFi 101. You know, these are frequently asked questions. This is how I learned a long time ago. It's very, 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 very helpful. So that might be something you guys have some spare time. But you can do all of this stuff. What do I need to create a wallet? What is an address? Are there fees? What happens if it's not completed? How can I keep it secure? You know, there are a lot of sites out there that can definitely help you. But I'll stop sharing because we are almost done. I want to make sure that we're answering everybody's questions. And
yeah, no, that was awesome. So one question, I know I was surprised by that as well, Alex. Like it looked like a leverage interface, but I don't think you can do leverage on Coinbase, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, the pro account, is that correct?
Yep. Not on spot, but you can on margin. You can on futures. Yeah, you can leverage for sure. Yep.
Okay.
Set limits, stops, all that. The good thing about Coinbase, when you are a member of their one service, a lot of the exchange fees are waived. Like if I want to move USDT to USDC, like it's basically nothing or gone. You know, if you're using if you're moving USDC, they don't charge me on the ETH network. But I mean, you can get onto the ARB. I have also Coinbase Wallet, not to confuse you guys. There's Coinbase and there's Coinbase Wallet. Coinbase Wallet, you can, you know, bridge onto different DEXs. You can move different coins. You can swap. There's a lot. So I don't want to get too ahead of, you know, of everything.
So there was a question in the chat here. Do you have to KYC on any exchange to do perpetuals? So, you know, actually that is part of the reason why we have so many different exchanges. We earlier on showed what exchanges in different regions of the world is. You get on an on-ramp or an off-ramp. Then once you're on, going to an exchange where you're able to do perpetuals. So, you know, we live in a global community and different regions have different services available and require KYC, don't require KYC. In the United States, it's heavy KYC. Like they're all about KYC, but there are sites where KYC is not required. I believe CoinW, Mexi, like it all depends. And a lot of it is regionally based. They're actually looking at your IP address and then deciding whether or not you can access their site. So
really quickly, I'm not going to show my balance. I'm going to show my tether balance. So I just want to show them how they would move something. Like I'm not going to do it, just really quickly, because I think it's really important.
Yes.
Give me 1 second. Tell me when this comes up. I may even just go ahead and do it for you guys. Tell me when you see my Coinbase, it's going to say deposit withdrawal. Can you see that? It might not let me, you guys, because I've moved some Coinbase. I've moved money out. It hasn't cleared my ACH yet. It may tell me I can't do this, but at least I can show you where.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so I went a step ahead. Like obviously you go into Coinbase and you hit track and then you pick the token you want. I've got Tether, right? So I'm going to select my recipient, right? So I've got all these wallets stored in here. You know, all these different wallets. Those are my transactions. So I'm just going to pick one, right? Let's pick BingX because I know that's my BingX USDT. I'm going to put $10 in. Now I've already verified these addresses, right? I have. This I know for a fact is the last 4 digits of my BingX wallet. If you guys want to send me USDT, please do. Just kidding. But then it's going to make you put a note. So I always put notes. I would say banter marathon, BingX, you know, BX USDT. And then I hit done. And then you go preview your send. This is probably going to tell me I can't do it because, oh, maybe it will. I just don't want to send money to BingX right now, so I'm not going to. But once you hit send now, it's going to make me 2FA, go on to my third phone, get my, you know, authenticator out. And then if everything's correct, I also have to check my email because I set it that way, get a code to my phone. So I've got 3 precautions so that I don't mess this up. So I just wanted to show you guys that. That's really all. I'll stop sharing. But I think that's really, hopefully that was helpful. Coinbase makes it very easy. It really, really does. You know, I've mastered crypto.com. I've mastered a couple other ones. So if anybody has questions, just attach me or attach any of us in Discord. Yeah. And I think we're passing on now, right?
Yeah, we are passing on to Mams, me, and Brian. So Mams has been working really hard on a variety of different presentations. So as we do the handoff, Mams, I want to find out, do you have, is there a way to, there was a small crackling sound and it just sounded a little bit muffled. Is there a way to move closer to the mic? We were getting radio background sound, so we might have to go without video, but you're such a critical part of this presentation. I want you to
I'll be back if you need me. I'm just
okay. Thank you so much. All right.
I'll be right back.
So I'm just going to get the other presentation brought up. Mams, if you have your mic there, let me know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Mams, I did find a setting where I could turn her sound up a bit, so that may have helped.
Okay, so yeah, let's try just a second. So,
And then, Mams, if you have some mic somewhere, I'm not sure where it's coming from, but if you have a headset with a microphone, earbuds, or even if your webcam has a mic, if you bring it closer to you, we might be able to make it audible enough for you to, you know, for people to be able to hear you.
All right, Mams.
Yeah.
Let's see, what's the sentence?
Well, Mams, you already know what your Christmas gift is. No, actually, you sound louder. Actually, try it.
No, just
okay. All right. Well, as I was saying, Mams has been a critical part of this entire marathon, played such a big role in the planning and prepping. And I hope you'll stay up here. We should have Brian joining us on stage right now. But this next part that we're going to be going into is another core piece. And yeah. So while we wait, I'm going to get things ready here. There we go. So before we even begin, you know, these marathons are long. They're long and fun and awesome and, you know, great way to connect with other people that love trading. And it's great to see people that were in the last marathon here again. You know, I see Rect in Korea. Alex, I think you might have been there. Just Rocking Badger, I remember you. So great to be here with some of the people from the crypto community. It's really hard to find, you know, nothing like being at the you know, big family dinner table, and it's like you're so excited about crypto and everybody's like, can you just be quiet? And that's a great thing about being around the banter family, is that, you know, talking crypto, talking trading, that's what we're all about. So you've met me. I've had more than enough airtime here today, but I want to introduce you to my co-presenters. As I've mentioned, Mam has been a massive somebody who's been working on these presentations a lot. So massive shout out to her. And I know she will be involved in future marathons, and it'll be awesome because she has such great knowledge to share and knows these topics really well. So we're at a loss without her voice here today. And then Brian, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
This moment is kicking my butt right now. This is so cool. If people knew how much goes into this behind the scenes, and that people are working together right now from all over the world, it's just nuts. It's so cool. Anyways, yeah, I'm Brian.
That's my internet.
Uh-oh.
No,
yeah,
go ahead.
I'm Brian. I did cohort 2 sniper school, got in the first whale school. I've been in crypto for a couple of years. I got my butt kicked, and this time around, I really feel like I'm in a great community. I feel like I was telling you earlier, my crypto actually outpaced my job income annually, which is like super awesome. I just really just want to crush it this time around and buy my freedom so I can focus on helping others. Yeah, it's just my goal. And, you know, I've dedicated like my life to this. When I got into crypto, I wanted to be a master of everything. I loved everything about it. I just loved everything about it. And when I got into the banter community, man, you know, it's just like, there's just so much love and everybody's just working so hard. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now on the crypto community. I'm starting to get really nervous. Yeah, it's just been a great experience. It's been super cool. And today we're going to do your own research. I don't have a bunch of cool slides like you, but I'm just looking to give back what I learned. I was dropping my daughter off at school and I was like, man, I'm super nervous. And she was like, Dad, don't give them what you wish you always had. Just teach them what you wish you always knew. So if we can give some information that one person can get some good value out of, I'll be happy. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Presentation in full size and trying to look people in the face here. So, joy. So today we're going to be talking about crypto investing DYOR crash course, and we call it I title it a crash course because there's so much information to stick into this. We wanted to make sure you got from a lot of different angles, doing your own research. The first part of it is, what do you want to invest in? So let's get right into it. I think you've heard this over and over again. All of us presenters here are crypto school mentors, moderators. So definitely come through. If you have questions, definitely reach out and talk to us. That's one way for this. These marathons are one way for us to get to know you a little bit better so that we can, really be on this journey. I heard Rand say at one time, the goal is to create the most prosperous community online, prosperous community in crypto. And I really believe in that dream, and it's by us helping each other identify ways of trading and giving each other that voice when we figure things out and are on the right path. But we shouldn't be taking anybody's opinion on a token and just running with it. I've done it in the past, but it's led me down some pretty dark alleys because you never know if the token is valid. Somebody could have heard about it on, primetime news, and it could really be garbage. There's no guarantee that it's good. So you want to be able to do your own research. We don't cover this in the crypto school, but we're going to cover it a little bit today. This is more for the investing side of your portfolio, less than the specific trading. Trading you can do, you know what I mean? Is it going to zero? Does it have enough on-chain metrics and people following it? Brian's might cover some of that when we get to that segment. So it's really broken up into three different parts. First, cash into crypto investment plan. So we just finished talking about onboards or on-ramps, off-ramps. So you get money into crypto, you build up a lot of money, make more than your annual salary, and then you take money off of the exchange and go use it in the real world. That is the dream. That is the reality. So cash into crypto, we have cash coming in, and this is looking at it from an investment plan perspective because that's how I've been viewing it recently. I'm thinking about my long-term bag and where is that money going? Sheldon talks about it partially, different, but what are the different businesses that you're putting money towards? So once you identify how you're going to distribute that into different risk, identifying if a token is risky or it's high risk, low risk, then you can slot the different tokens that you've identified and move money into them accordingly. So ideally, and we're expecting much more, I think, at least I am, but a $5 return for every dollar I invest, and looking at this with a hypothetical amount, if we look at putting $1,000 into crypto, then we would break it up into these four different buckets based on the different assets that we bring in. If you have an old altcoin bag, old bag of crypto, you may actually want to deal with that separately because it requires taking money out of that currency and then loading it into another currency when the price is right. I'm not doing just straight swaps just based on what I've learned at crypto school, but once you lower that amount, you can continue to allocate and rebalance your portfolio as you go along. You have a variety of different sectors and narratives. So if you listen to Rand or in the game, you'll hear about the different narratives that we have within crypto. And during a bull run, what I've been looking at and what I'm hoping to find a better understanding of is how you jump from one narrative to another. And knowing your narrative is going to help you understand and be able to do comparisons between different tokens that you're talking about, right? So what is a layer one? A layer one are native tokens of their own blockchain. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, those are all layer ones, and then you can build on them. And I've listed this out here. We'll share this on Discord, but there's many different sectors and narratives that you can choose to invest in, and you can break your portfolio up in regards to the risk level of the asset, but you can also break it up by different sectors. At some point, you want to identify what is low risk, high risk, and where you want a big portion of your money in lower risk things, even though the narrative may be good, so that you ensure that you're preserving that capital. So now that you understand where you want to put, how you're going to divvy up your money, now what? Well, that's what this presentation is all about, is how to break up that money and distribute it against the different currencies. So as we move forward into talking about fundamental analysis, it's important to note that as you go through a checklist and think of all the different characteristics, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and risks, analysis of a token might not check all the boxes. There might be a segment of information that's not currently available. So expect gaps and know that this is an iterative process that you're going to continue having to work through as you stay within crypto. It continues on, gets easier, but you're always going to be updating it. And I know Brian's got some great resources for that at the end. So crypto assessment categories. So this is really the bulk of our presentation, and this is the segment that Mams was going to be talking to. So I'm going to talk to it probably far better than she was. Batter's not even a real word, so that's, X number 1 right there about my talking abilities. But, in our research, Mams identified 13 different areas where different areas that you want to be looking at when assessing a crypto asset, right? And a lot of us are really finding out about 1 or 2 and then going, check, let's move forward. I know I've done that before. Number 7 on this list, community and social presence seems to be where most of us get all of our weight from, and it's what inspires us to FOMO in. But we need to be looking at all these different pieces, and sometimes the information from one blockchain to another is not equal. For example, number 8, roadmap and dev progress, Solana, well built out, totally golden. Then you go and look at, another blockchain. I don't have an example, and they've got a roadmap which says, we hope to be live, have our testnet live this year. So, it's varying. You're going to have to really weigh and measure, and that's going to also contribute to your risk categorization. So technology and development, this is really thinking about this is really the first thing that you should be considering when analyzing a crypto project, because we're here talking about technology and talking about what is being enabled through the advent of crypto technology. So this includes, evaluating the project's text, its ability to scale, as more transactions come online, the security features, and a variety of other characteristics. Different tools that we've identified that could be beneficial for assessing this are Banter Bubbles, CoinGecko, and coinmarketcap.com. DeFi Llama and Dune Analytics are also resources that you can use. So we've created a list of these at the end, but Mams decided to put them right here so that you understand what you can be doing at these different on these different sites. So these different sites you're going to see over and over and over again. So as you assess the technology, you're also going to have the ability to identify what the use case and the problem that they're solving is. And, the best way to assess what problem they're planning to solve, of course, you can go to Twitter. Somebody's probably got a 160 character answer to what a blockchain is doing. But the best place to go, ding, 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 if you thought of it, is the white paper of the founders who created it. The white paper roadmaps and any bios that you have are going to help you understand the mindset that they're bringing to trying to solve the problem. In the last hour, we talked about Satoshi's vision and what he was trying to solve. That was all detailed in the white paper. That's how we're able to derive that today, even though the man, woman, or group that built it is not with us, or we can't identify them. So another piece is market and competition. We want to identify if the digital asset that we're looking at actually fits within a larger ecosystem of crypto assets. So if we go back and we look at the different narratives, you're going to identify competition in those narratives. So if we look at the gaming sector, for example, there's lots of game producers. Who's the best? Who's the newest? Who has the latest technology? Who's working with virtual reality? All of those different pieces are going to drive their competitiveness in the market. So you want to identify and assess any additional, any existing and potentially future competition that they're going to be facing. And as we move into the bull run, looking at newer tokens that are coming out is going to be really beneficial. I keep referencing Rand today, but in Rand's video yesterday, which I feels like I watched today, he was talking about old narratives, old tokens, new tokens. It was a great video talking about market and competition. So if you have an opportunity, go watch that. Some recommended tools for this area are DeFi Llama, Dune Analytics, and of course, everybody on crypto Twitter, right? Or I guess we call it Crypto X now, Brian. I don't know what we call it.
I call it Twitter.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
not the whole X thing.
Yeah, crypto Twitter.
It's right down the street from me right now, so I'm still calling it Twitter.
Yeah, me too. I have such a difficult time, but I'm getting there. Team and leadership. It's just like any venture that you're looking to invest in, team and leadership. If you're going to, if you want to leave your kids to be babysat by somebody, please consider who the team of people are that are going to be babysitting that child. Your child is your child is a most precious gift, but so is your money. And when we invest in digital assets, it can go up really fast, but please, if you know anything in crypto, FTX scandals, hacks, many things can take a token to zero very quickly. And some of the best have been hit by that. All right. So the best way to identify the team and leadership is to use some tools. One of the slides later on outlines Crunchbase, which is a great way to go and look at how different founders are engaging with other startups and who their investors are. You can also look at social media profiles, webinars, and any podcasts or talks that they have where you can really try to understand who they are and do they even have the backbone to build what they're saying. Token economics. So token economics really relates to how a digital asset is going to be profitable. What is their way of generating revenue? So I'm going to read this because I don't want to get this wrong. Tokenomics plays a central role in a project's success. This involves a thorough study of the token supply, distribution, allocation. It includes understanding details of the ICO, initial coin offering, and IDO. Understanding how these tokens are created, used, and distributed. So how did the tokens this is covered at length in different areas. I think Brian's going to talk about this more when we go and look at some of the different tools. But thinking about distribution, and I've heard this spoken about a little bit on this talk, or I'm sorry, on this marathon so far, but who are the bag holders, right? Are the bag holders, is it one bag holder that can dump on you? I'm a XRP fanboy, and one of the big concerns in the early, in 2017, 2016, 2017, 2018 was XRP, Ripple, the company, held like 65% of the tokens, could dump them at any time, had regular unlocks that would just bash you with when they drop tokens into the market, driving price down potentially. You want to consider all of these. You want to think of any incentives for using the DeFi's, issuance, when will they be issued, maximum supply, and any technical elements that relate to how it's used. And does the token have utility? Right? Is there value? Of course, we need 50,000 different meme coins. Like, oh my goodness, Spark Pepe, French Pepe, English Pepe. Like, there are so many tokens out there. You want to be investing in the ones that are going to be winners because they will take your money. The exchanges will take your money. Adoption and partnerships. The level of adoption and strategic partnerships a project has impacts its success. And I really liked Rand's video yesterday because he was talking about what I've started calling dino tokens. I heard that from Sheldon, and I was like, oh yeah, dinosaur tokens. I have some of those. I have a lot of those. I have too many of those. But and new projects. And I thought he did a really good job of breaking it down in that, you have old projects, and because they've had time in the market, we expect them to have traction. Whereas the new projects, shiny, shiny bright thing is what we want with that. We want the vision. We want the pipe dream of what it's going to do for the future. I invested in so many of those in my early days, because I'm all for privacy. So I was like investing in different substratum. I put so much money in substratum because I thought, I thought it was a great project, but they crash and burn. We need to understand how it's being adopted, the different partnerships that they have, and who the people are behind the project, because that's going to impact the fitness. So the fitness of the project. So recommended tools for this are Spot On Chain, Crypto Twitter, aka X, and CoinMarketCal. Community and social presence. This is what I mentioned earlier. This is where we get most of our information through YouTube influencers, Twitter, news. So we want to make sure that the tokens that we're investing in actually have a good community and social presence, that they have a community that supports them. If they don't, then they probably will fail. So you want to look at that. If it's an unknown, obscure token, it's probably going to be unknown and obscure revenue generation for yourself as well. Oh, two tools for this are Lunar Crush and Dune Analytics. Crunchbase is also really good if the project is going after, has been funded by VCs, it is probably on Crunchbase. It's a tool you can access a lot of the resources on there for free, but you can get even deeper information if you pay the annual fee in regards to the funding rounds, who was part of it. And that's beneficial for just figuring out like who's supporting this, because as an investor, you want to see the project succeed. So, yeah, I won't belabor that. That makes sense to everybody, I'm sure. I want to get to the good parts. The good parts, that's where we need to be. Roadmap and development, I'm not going to belabor this as well, but a roadmap provides the insight into what the project has successfully been able to do in the past. So a roadmap where they started from, where they are now, and where they plan on going is good. We don't just want a roadmap that starts today and says, give us your money, and we're going to do this in the future. Ideally, they've already had some success, right? Maybe they've launched their test net. Maybe they have gotten funding. We want some level of track record, unless you just want to throw it out there, roll those dice. So follow the project's teams on social media. Are they active on social media? When's the last time that they posted? How active are their GitHub? Looking at crypto focused media outlets as well. And then CoinMarketCal is another option. Transparency and communication. How does the team do with communicating to you what's going on? And I love projects that are having town halls, telling you what is going on. Charles Hutchinson from ADA is fantastic with this. He's always talking with his community, and he has a thriving community that follows him. So are the founders actually listening to community and really putting what they're working on out there? If there isn't communication, then anybody gets scared, right? When a friend is supposed to call you and they don't call you, you start to get worried. Did I do something wrong? Have they gone missing? And you don't want investors, aka you and me, getting cold feet. So a project really should have good communication, and they should be transparent about where they are in the process. Now, when it comes to transparency, some projects that may be a little bit more opaque with this, maybe some of your wallet applications, hackers will identify how to do hacks based on the code. So being opaque with code bundles is one thing, but you want transparency in regards to where they're going and what kind of security scans they've had, et cetera, et cetera. Funding and financials, I can launch a cryptocurrency. There's tools out there to do it, but how are they actually going to push it forward? Funding and financials are necessary in order for cryptocurrencies to get onto exchanges. Funding is needing for that. Funding to pay for developers. You don't want to be standing behind a cryptocurrency that has 2 developers. Ooh, can you hear the crickets now? They need a team of developer, and so that's why understanding what the team is. Do they have the skills that they're going to need to build what they say they're going to build, right? Having a marketing director trying to build a blockchain might not be the best thing. You wouldn't want to invest in that. But do they have the team? Because they do need a marketing director. So you don't want just an all tech team. And through funding, right? If they can actually get funding, they can bring in the right people to fill different roles. So we really want to understand what funding they have, what are the financials, how are they using the money? Is it being used to rent yachts for the founders? And, there's no code commits going in. You want to be mindful of this. And that's why it's an iterative process. Things can change as people have change of heart or where we are in the whole Bitcoin cycle. So some recommended tools for going through this are DeFi Llama, Spot on the Chain, and of course, Crypto Twitter, X. All right, revenue generation, we're just about there. How are they making money? Okay, there's many ways to make money in cryptocurrency, and you want to understand. And I really liked this slide because it demonstrated different revenue models. Now, when it comes to the tokens that you may choosing to invest in, I wouldn't expect them to have multiple legs into all of these different areas, but they should be generating revenue in a well-known, meaningful way that makes sense. Okay. Ad revenue is something that makes sense. Gambling, right? So just all of the transactions that happen with that, supply chain, right? Are they providing this to big business so that they can actually manage their supply chain? Understand how they're actually getting revenue, because that's what the larger investors and you need to be thinking about, because that's what's going to bring us value over the long term as we hold that token. DeFi Llama is really good for this, so definitely check that out. Market capitalization. So where do they fit within the market? How much, are they fully capitalized? I still don't understand this well enough, so I'm going to gloss over this. But what capitalization? No, I don't like to misspeak, right? I don't like to misspeak. But so market capitalization is something that Brian is going to talk more about, because I don't want to misspeak, and I use really good examples that make them lodge in your head. It's impossible to get rid of them, and I don't want to be confused. But you want to be thinking about not just what is outlined as the market cap, but the diluted market cap as well. And I've been starting to look more at the diluted market cap, just the numbers, but knowing the numbers is important. You want to take into consideration the market capitalization, because it prevents you from doing moon math. And so that's why I'm trying to understand it. That's why I'm trying to understand it really well. To say that a token is going to go from sub 1 penny to over $100 during the bull market capitalization is going to help you understand the reality of that. Okay. So I'm using market capitalization to identify, like, are my targets on point? Can this actually go to where I'm setting my bull run target, target take profit levels? Market cap is going to help with that, because do they even have the ability to do that? And then how do they fit into the larger market? Right? So sure, they grow bigger than Bitcoin. All right. So what price is Bitcoin at? Is there enough money in the world for that? Those are things we need to consider when doing moon math. All right. And then last but not least, and there's many more things that you can consider, on-chain metrics. On-chain metrics provide the insight. We started talking about this during the last period, but we're going to go into it a lot more with Brian's segment. He is the master of all things metrics and is going to show us some really cool tools. But the on-chain metrics help you know that you aren't being help you discern that you aren't being scammed, right? Because you can actually see what's happening on the blockchain. You can go and see, are there transactions, who's using it, who are the largest users, who are the largest bag holders, right? Where did that money go? Are whales moving money, right? The only reason we know that whales are moving money is because of on-chain metrics. So each chain is going to have a specific place that you'll go to look for your on-chain metrics. So if it's on the Ethereum, in the Ethereum ecosystem, you're going to use Etherscan. If it is Binance, then BSC scan and Sol scan. Each, and the XRP scan has that. There's an XRP scanner as well. So your scan in the right spot for the token that you're looking for. And this just underlines, make sure you're sending your assets to the right on the right blockchain, because they will be lost if you don't. Okay. So with that, I think we're at the end. Oh, it's a lot of data. I told you she was going to cover a lot of great stuff. I couldn't even do it justice, in all honesty. So these are the different 13 areas that you want to be looking at. And as we stated at the very beginning, you will have, some areas may not be as complete as you want them to be. It's okay. It's an iterative approach. And the more information you have, the better. So we have a list of tools that you can use for investing in crypto. We'll share this. Thank you again to Mams for pulling together this list. It's fantastic. And if you want to learn more about trading, definitely check out Crypto School. So with that, that's the end of our organized presentation. I'm going to take over the chat and I'll just start shooting you questions, Brian, as they come up, because I'm really excited about all the tools you're going to be sharing with us today. I love what you share on Discord. I think I told you that already. Like, oh, I'm always so amazed by the tools you share. What's the link for that one? Tell me the link for that one. So yeah, thank you so much for taking time to lead us through all this today.
So are we looking for the chat?
Yes, I'm watching the chat here, and you bring up the presentation, and I will interrupt and just say, hey, we got this question. So yeah, you stay focused on what you're going to present. You look great on screen. That's fantastic. So
I do.
Check yourself out, right?
All right. Amazing. So how do I screen share here?
You're already screen sharing, sir.
I am screen sharing.
Yes, we're looking at your screen right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me get rid of that.
Okay, that's a white paper.
Okay, yeah. Hey, you know what? That's where I started.
All right,
I started with, I remember when I got into crypto.
Oh, just a second, Brian. One more thing. I will give you a time check when we get to 10 minutes to the hour. All right? So we can just focus in on questions. I knew you wanted that.
I think fast. I talk fast, guys. I'm just going to go through it. I'm not endorsing anything here. I'm trying to give you a lot of tools that you have for free. I don't want to jumble you up and get a lot on your plate, guys. I would say that when you have your research process, you have to create a process that you fall in love with. You have to fall in love with the process, because if it's work, it's not going to be smooth. So if you see some tools in here and you find a little process, work it, create your process that you fall in love with, create your trading style that you fall in love with. When I first got into into sniper school, I thought that I had to trade this way or that way. And then Sheldon always said something. He said a lot of things that I love, man. I love that guy. He said, create a style that fits your personality. And I really sat down and I thought, man, I'm super impatient. So I need to trade on the low time frame. So I started doing that and I started seeing a lot of success. So whatever you see here, I'm not endorsing anything. Just take what you can, accept wholeheartedly that which builds you, and release wholeheartedly that which doesn't. So this is the Bitcoin white paper. I started here. And if we look at it, this is, in my opinion, what you should be basing every white paper that you look at off. A purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash that allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. So white papers can be very confusing, right? And you're going to get in there, you're going to see all types of information and metrics and stuff that you don't understand. I gauge everything by the Bitcoin white paper. Can I read it? And does it give me the direction of the project? Is it easy to understand? Does it tell me what problem it solves? Does it tell me what problems it presents? A lot of people don't understand how the electricity in their house works, but they can just flick the switch and exploit it. In crypto, I just want to find some tools that I don't have to learn how to program on Rust. I just want to have a process that I can understand stuff. So one of the first things that I like to do every single day on my research is the news. I didn't want to go around and go to 10 different news sources. I use CryptoPanic. You see here, CryptoPanic, it has every news source up to the minute. You can do it up to the minute, but it's just everything, every article from everywhere. If you're going to be in this process, we are approaching the part in the market where stuff's going to move fast. and the market's going to move from news, right? So being up to speed on the news without, like, I just didn't want to be going in 1,000 different directions, having 10 different windows up, CoinDesk, Bitcoin this and that. So for me, Crypto Panic is a good source for news. I'm doing research on cold nitro right now too. Oh my God, this stuff is crack. All right. So another good little site here, and you touched on a lot of good things. And so can we just go through those? Some of those websites like DeFi Llama and all that stuff. Can you hear me?
Please, oh, you're muted. Please. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Let's just run through some stuff, and don't mute yourself. I need your voice. I'm super nervous right
now. Don't be nervous. You're doing great.
Okay. So one of the tools that I use a lot, right? Like a lot of people trade just technical analysis. Some people trade fundamental analysis. My style is kind of everything. So one of the sites that I use a lot is Sentiment. Sentiment is, it'll tell you what's trending. It has a lot of cool stuff here. Like this is today, right? We're looking today, we're seeing Jito, right? Jito is pumping up, right? And if we go to crypto, actually, if we go to crypto bubbles, like check this out. So what pops out at us? We see BONK, right? BONK is crushing it today. Boom, it popped up yesterday. And it tells you why it's trending, what it's trending, where it's trending, who's in on it. I'll tell you, I remember when the Sui came out, and I made an obscene amount of money on this site, Sentiment. Shout out my man Ben, DeFi Rebels, who gave me this, who showed me this. And we were just looking at this, and I saw it popped up on the #1 trending thing, and it said Sui. And I thought, oh man, what is Sui? So I went to the website, and it was like, oh, okay. And then I went to YouTube, and I saw that everybody was talking about getting an airdrop. So they were all putting tokens on the network and trying to transact with it. And so I knew right then and there that these are all spot bags that are going into the network, and they're all trying to put money on and transact with it because they want to qualify for the airdrop. So I knew, okay, well, all these airdrop tokens are going to be spot bags. They're going to support the price. And it had a perpetual on MEXC. So bam, I went long on it and I killed it. And it was just off this. So you can get a lot of cool stuff off this. This is constantly just telling you what's trending, what's out there. I compare it a lot to Banter Bubbles.
Banter Bubbles?
Yeah, and just see what's going on.
I'm always amazed at how many more things there are in Banter Bubbles. I don't use all of the capabilities, but yeah, it's a great place to find out when news is dropping, if something's crashing hard. But I think Crypto Panic is also a really good resource.
Crypto Panic is cool. And you know what, guys? If you have some cool site, drop it in the chat.
Yes, please.
Drop it in the chat. One of the coolest things about this community is it works like a potluck. It doesn't work like a buffet. Everybody is bringing something to the table. You know, you're not going to show up to a potluck with a fork. You got to show up with that dish. This is crypto. You got to earn your seat at the table, guys. You know what I mean? If you're not sitting at the table in crypto, you are on the menu. So that's why it's like important to be in a community of people and research your community too. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't see, I love this community, Ran and Sheldon. You don't see Ran out there hawking his Rolex or hawking his Mustang like some of these bit boys. Nobody out here is going to call you, you know, these echo chambers is really what drives me nuts. Like last bull run, I remember there was all these people that got in for the money. And then when their bags tanked, they were all about the tech. It's like, it's insane. Don't do that. In my opinion, do not call yourself a Caspian or a Solana soldier or I mean, it's just insane.
Hey,
like,
I'm an XRP fanboy. Come on.
Okay, that's cool. I mean,
you know, XRP army. What's wrong with that?
I'm gonna say
There's
this.
a big problem with that, isn't there?
I'm gonna say this. At the end of the day, at the end of the bull run, if you are a Dogecoin millionaire and you go to buy a house, the bank thinks you are broke. That's why I always love what Sheldon says. He says, I am a dollar millionaire. He doesn't say I'm a crypto millionaire. I am a dollar millionaire. That's where I'm trying to go. You know, a crypto millionaire, that's cool. But I want this real world assets where I can actually take care of my family, where I can actually buy my daughter her dream house, where I can actually have this real world value. And this is just my opinion, you know, XRP Army, hey, go for it. But me, I'm not, I want cash.
And that's exactly it. And, you know, the error of what happens when you, and this is what happened to me to some degree, you know, not here to talk about any of that yet. Now I still have a big bag of XRP and I love that community as well. But when you're in the community, you have tunnel vision. You're just going with the news that everybody else is talking about. You're not looking at the token from, you know, from a perspective of, is this something that is going to be profitable for me? So that's why we put this together, because you want to be taking all of these different factors into consideration when you're researching a token, and know if it's going to be good for you, because at the end of the bull run, there will be people who will lose all of their money because they hold on to things that they believe in that just don't make it. So let's keep going.
Right. Look at this. For example, if we're doing some research, here we go. XRP, right? We got a max supply of, what is that? 100 trillion? What is that?
Yeah.
Right.
So too much. It's 100 billion, I think, isn't it?
We got a circulating supply of half of those tokens, right?
Yes.
Total supply. So we know that half of those tokens are already out on the market, and we've got a market cap of 36 billion, right? So it's like, if you think about that, when people say, when somebody from Wells Fargo comes out and says XRP is going to be $5, we're looking at that will never happen, right? This market cap is going to outpace the value of gold if this goes up, you know, 20x.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So let's talk about that for a quick second, because I think, you know, a good teachable moment. So there is currently like this finite wealth bubble, right? That's why we're able to say this much in real estate, this much in gold, this much in different assets. So in order to have value without causing inflation, financial resources need to move from one thing to something else that's deemed to be available. So when money's moving into crypto, it's coming from somewhere. And so that's what Brian is really pointing to when he says, you know, it'll be more valuable than gold. It'll be more valuable than X, Y, and Z, because it doesn't fit within the larger ecosystem of money that we currently live in. So it can't just moon without the rest of, you know, the rest of the financial market. If I'm wrong about that, somebody tell me in the chat so I can apologize before I go off stage. So, all right, let's keep going.
Right. So here it's like assets by market cap. We've got Bitcoin down here, number 9. So we look at market cap. This is how I gauge market cap. We got Bitcoin climbing the charts. And when you look at these things, it's like I see Hustle focuses on market cap a lot. And when you're looking at projects that have a low market cap, less money can tilt the scales on price at a greater value. But they're also very susceptible to have big swings, right? So we're going to touch on that a little bit more. I don't want to get too much. One tool I wanted to show you guys is something. So this is a tool called Kingfisher. I use this a lot. And what this does is, I don't know if you can follow my mouse here. So Kingfisher really separates up whales.
Yeah, we can see your mouse.
Whales from market makers to retail. So right over here, these are what we call the buckets, right? Large order delta in excess of $1 million. So these are longs and shorts. And you have market order delta in excess of $100,000. And then down here, you have us. So this is really the reality of the market. What you have here is, look at this. Look how the whales all went long. And what is retail doing? They're all short. Whales went long. Market makers went short. It's like you have to really think about, are you exit liquidity? Another one of these, there's a free program. It's called Agar. If you just search Agar free templates. You can get that program or a version of it, and you can look at it on Agar, which will basically...
Of Kingfisher? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, here, I'll pull it up right now. So Agar. So here it is.
We had a question in the chat as well about sentiment. Is the free version good enough, or do they need to pay for it?
I use the free version.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I never paid him a penny.
Okay.
So this is Agar, and it's the same thing, right? Over here is the buckets. And instead of saying whales, it just says big, normal, small. So this is basically whales, retail. So all this, you can see how, look at this. Look at this right here. Perfect example. Look at how the whales all went long and retail all went short. Bam. They're all long there and retail's all short here. Guys, the market never changes because human nature never changes. It's going to be the same thing you're only young once. Okay, it's going to be the same thing last time around as it is this time around. Yeah, I do not use a paid version on Sentiment. The only paid version of anything that I'm currently using is Into the Block. Into the Block is a cool resource for me. I just like it. I like the way it looks. For me, it's like, because when I'm researching, I like to have everything in one little spot. So we'll just click on Bitcoin, right? So here I can look at financials. I can look at large holders, and a lot of this stuff is free. You know, you can look at how many people are in the money, how many people are out of the money. I mean, it's just, there's tons of information on here. This one is you could get by with the free one. There's tons of metrics. There's tons of stuff. And guys, you know what? I'm by far an expert on this stuff. I'm always learning. I'm always listening. I'm not here to pretend
you're
like
my expert.
What's that?
I said you're my expert. I'm like copying down these websites. Like, oh hey, let me go figure that out.
Well,
we do
you
it
know,
together.
it's like you brought up a great one that I just found recently was Dune. Here's one, Dune, and actually I was looking around for PYTH, right? Mm-hmm. And I found this cool stuff. So it's like here, these are all what is
Those
it?
are all the trading pairs, aren't they?
What's that?
Or past 1 week prices, right?
So
by
that's
price
by trading pair. Ooh, that's another thing I really wanted to touch on.
Yeah, please.
When you see a new token, or when something comes out, like PYTH, for example, I made a killing on it. But when it came out, it did this. Look at that. It tanked. I mean, we can't even get to the top of that. PYTH came out. It was a highly anticipated token. Everybody was talking about it. And what did it do? It went 87% drop right off the bat. Why?
It's not even a daily candle, right? Like that was like 15-minute candle. Just, it was nothing.
That was in the first couple of minutes. And the reason why was because it was an airdrop token. Mm-hmm. It was airdropped to a bunch of people, and you could have easily found that if you would have used something like this. Mm-hmm. Airdrops. Keep an eye on airdrops. There's going to be a lot of airdrops that are going to be coming out. There was actually one. Here it is right here. Look, Jito, latest airdrops, potential airdrops that are coming. You want to keep an eye on these. And what you want to do is you don't want to jump on something just because you saw it on YouTube. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you might not want to do that, right? You're anticipating PYTH. You want to get in on it and you buy right away. And then all of a sudden, you're broke. Here's another token.
Yes. I just got into this today, actually.
Oh, not Jito. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you. Where is it? Look at this token. What's this token? This is one of the best performing tokens of the year. Kaspa. What was Kaspa? Kaspa was a free launch. Kaspa was a free launch token, and it came out quietly. And look at that. You can find these tokens here, just going on CoinGecko.
So how would you do that?
Okay. New cryptocurrencies. Look, and then it has this one. This one launched 8 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 8 hours ago. These tokens are constantly being launched, guys. You can, I mean, like we can go through one in real time. I actually found one yesterday that I was really checking out. Look, GALA Music. Bam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you brought that up yesterday.
Right. So check this out. So it's GALA Music token.
So I have a question. We're in the last, we have like 7 minutes left, but so now you found this, right? You found GALA Music. So what's your process then to really look at the on-chain and, you know, the numbers behind this? Like what would be your process?
First thing I'll do is I'll check out the website. What's it look like? Okay, it looks pretty cool. It's music. I can go on here. Do I buy music? Does the website look cool? What I'm looking for is something that's inviting to the masses, right? I'm looking for, is it easy? Is it seamless? Is it easy to understand? Can I just get in here? Can I do it very easily, right? Like all of us probably watching, we've been in this game, right? We know how to navigate dexes. We know how to do all this and that. But the real money, the real life-changing money, this is going to be people who aren't in this every day. Is the website easy to navigate? Is it easy to understand? What is the product? Next thing I'll do is I'll usually just go on. Maybe I'll check out the white paper.
That is the music white paper. The standard. Yep.
Right. And I'll just breeze through it. Introduction, audience, ecosystem reward. Maybe look at the tokenomics, token utilities. I'll just breeze through it. I'll come back here. And now what I want to look at is I'll go to Etherscan. I want to know who are the holders. Bam. One wallet right there holding 30% of this token.
That's right. A little bit
then
scary.
we got Gate.io holding this, right? And then we got this, we got that. So then who's this guy? So what I'll do is I'll copy this address. I'll go to a Web3 wallet. I'll put in that address. And this is obviously an early holder, right? Oh, wait, it didn't paste right. Paste. I'm going to paste his address. I'm going to look up this wallet. Is that the wallet? And I see that this wallet is holding Blur. So if you ever miss a launch, you can go on to Etherscan. Here's Rollbit. Who are the holders? You can take this. You can take these wallet holders who are heavy holders right here, right? And you can just copy this address. Go on to bank. Look at this wallet. I love chasing wallets. Here's this person who was an early holder on Rollbit, holding 1 million. What else are they in on? They're holding synthetics. What NFTs are they holding? You can follow wallets. You can follow the money. You don't have to be a whale to swim with them. That's the beautiful thing about crypto is that everything is available. That's why the government hates crypto, because governments would topple tomorrow if they had their assets on the blockchain. I mean, I live in a country that they lost $2 trillion 10 years ago, and that would never happen if assets were on the blockchain.
Yes.
You can look at transactions, all the transactions this thing walked with. Yeah. So we're running out of time. I didn't really get to anything, you know, there's tons of different sites, guys.
No, there's lots of, so so we have some questions. I've been watching the information, so I've been doing bad with the chat over here. So thank you so much for Ways for helping out in the chat while we've been gone. I'm looking for questions, so put your questions at the end if necessary. And another one that was brought up in the chat was Forex Factory being another place that
Forex Factory, amazing.
Yeah.
Forex Factory. So you want to know the news. Forex Factory, you can set it on up. You can have your calendar. You can know what's coming. Forex Factory, you can set it up for countries, right? So you want to know what's coming up. So we got, this is Tuesday past. Let's see what's coming up maybe. So here we have the non-farm payrolls. That was today. And then it even has, I think it has like a level of how much it'll affect price change. Yeah, Forex Factory is a great resource to have to know what news is coming, what countries are going to, I mean, it's everywhere, all over the world. It's really everything. Forex Factory. You can set it up how you like it. You can set it up so only certain countries show up. because a lot of times there's tons of stuff.
Hey, I have another question. We're getting close on time, sticklers for time, I know. But just because someone has, this is a question from the chat from Hero Life 3.0. Just because someone holds a lot of tokens, what does that mean?
For me personally, so
well, I'm asking you, is there somebody else in the room with you?
So what that means to me is, so what I'll do is I want to know, is this an early adopter, right? I want to get in here into this wallet and I want to see if this is a whale in this coin. For me, there is a high likelihood that this is somebody who's in the know, right? And I want to know, I want to go in here and see the transactions. I just want to take a peek at what they're doing. If they're an early holder and I can know when they got in this token, I want to know what else are they an early holder in, right? You're following the whales. You can really just kind of, and this is just something I like to do. Guys, you can't look at a chart all day. You'll go buggy, right? And for me personally, so this is just what I like to do, to look at different things. Just click in here. Look at these whales. Look at this person here. Bam. That's a cool kind of name he's got there on his Ether wallet. Let's just look at this. Okay, so this is a $1 million, right? So what's SPAY? We know what ETH is. We know Pulse Chain. So this is a big holder of Rollbit. Actually, the SPAY's only got a penny in it, so that's probably crap. So for me, heavy holders, they could dump. This wallet, the Rollbit's deployer, has 64% of the total the total supply. Mm-hmm. If I'm holding Rollbit, this wallet could break me.
Yeah.
So what else does this wallet have? This wallet has 100,000 in ETH, 296 million in Rollbit, wrapped ETH, USDC fork. These are just little things that I personally do to click around just to be in the know. I'm trying to swim with the whales, right?
Yeah. Well, the account only has 300 million in it. I'm not sure why you'd be concerned about them choosing that they're no longer interested in the project. Like, I'm out of here. Like, let me sell all these tokens. And, large amounts of tokens moving onto exchange, off of exchange, we track it because it has an opportunity to also impact price. If all tokens are dumped at one time, it's going to suppress the price. If all tokens are removed from the exchange at one time, then there's less for us to be buying. So let me see if there's other questions. Why wouldn't it be a rich dude taking a flyer on? Okay, no. All right. Is this helpful for everybody? Are you guys getting what you need out of this marathon? We want to know. We want to know. Did you like the deck? Shout out to Mams. Brian, what additional questions do you have for us? Let us know. Let us know. We have our next group coming on. But so grateful for Crypto School. Definitely has been a life-changing experience. And myself, Mams, Beth, who you met earlier, Brian, all of us have been through Crypto School. All of us have invested the time to improve our skills, because we had the opportunity to have things go against us in the last bull run. So, if you are looking to become a better trader, I personally endorse Crypto School, and I don't endorse things easily. It's part of the reason why it took me so long to get on. My friend and I were going to sign up, and then I started to go through the registration. And I was like, I'm not sure. This doesn't sound right. You do it first. So I sent her through first, and then went through. And it is a little bit complex, the different parts in regards to like, how do you get on? But the knowledge, the community, it's been life-changing for me. And Brian, you made more in a month than from crypto. You met your annual salary. It's like, boom, how is that even possible? So yeah. And I think our next person has come up. Who go there? Hear ye, who go there?
No, so we are actually going to move to part 3 of the marathon. So we're going to be moving over to the next YouTube and the next StreamYard.
Is that David?
Yes, that's David.
That's the voice of the man who makes all of this possible. He stays up for the entire time to make sure that we have what we need to succeed. So thank you so much, David. We'll be moving to the next chat. Are you going to share it in how do people get there?
Yep, so the link will be posted in the comment section shortly. There you go, it's in chat. So you
Okay.
can just click that, you can be moved there. Yeah, it will be set up so within 5 or so minutes that will go live. So if everybody moves there now, then when it starts, you'll see.
Awesome. All right, well, smash the like button here so that people can find this. And then when you get there to help the YouTube algorithm, definitely smash it right away. It raises our notice in the rankings, and then people can find us easier. So help us out in that way. And if you enjoyed this when you are on Crypto School, definitely let Mams know that this presentation was valuable to you, because she did a lot of work, just like all of us did. And we're all here trying to help others make it to where we've made it. So thanks for joining us today. We'll see you on the next stream. Talk to you then. Bye.